Hercules and Ares are already waiting in Adelan. Are you sure the two of them can stop Superman? Or, Dr. Banner pushed up his glasses. Indicates whether he should transform into Hulk and join the battle. Need not. Tony decisively rejected Dr. Banner. In his analysis, as long as it's not Superman from the early comic book era, they have a solution. Hercules and Ares are the sons of the god kings in Greek mythology. Even if his strength is not as good as Superman's, he can still hold him back for a while. Superman's power comes from the sun, and all we have to do is keep him out of the sun, and the good news is, we have magician. Using teleportation magic, we can teleport Superman to Limbo where there is no sun. I have good news about this. Superman's magic resistance is low. Definitely, assuming the comic I read is not a lie. In addition, Superman originally is not invulnerable. The nuclear explosion will produce a variety of lethal acute radiation. You know this better than I do, Dr. Banner. Tony drummed his fingers on the table. Things like neutrons, brackets, thermal neutrons and fast neutrons. Then there are X-rays, gamma rays, fission fragments, alpha particles, and beta rays. The most penetrating of these are fast neutrons and gamma rays. As long as it's close enough. Impeccability is a joke. High-energy neutrons, gamma rays and X-rays will defeat any defense ability. Superman's cells will turn into plasma gas, and the body of steel will evaporate in the mushroom cloud. Tony has a killer plan for Superman. He has already deployed large-capacity nuclear weapons in Limbo Prison in advance. To this end, Tony searched almost all over the world, because the Ultron crisis destroyed most of the nuclear weapons stockpile. There was no problem with the plan originally. But have you ever thought about it? Superman has clairvoyance and superspeed. When he sees the nuclear bomb buried underground, he can use his superspeed to fly away. Dr. Banner questions Tony's plan. This is why Superman is so difficult to deal with. Superman is so balanced, and he has reached the top level in every aspect. As for fluoroscopy, I have already said that lead can block his X-rays. As for speed, then we can only hope he's not the early comic version of Superman. Tony shrugged. And it doesn't matter even if you can't kill Superman, don't forget. Our true purpose is the Power Stone, while Tony was talking to Dr. Banner. Earth. Avengers Alliance headquarters. The walls here are also made of lead to isolate Superman's see-through eyes. Captain America, Black Widow, Black Panther, Quicksilver and other heroes all gathered in front of a large circular portal-like machine. Ant-Man, Scott and Wasp Hope are operating in front of the machine. The coordinates of the power gem have been locked. This door will teleport you directly to the target area. Notice, you may be attacked upon arrival. Wasp said to everyone seriously. Sounds a bit like paratroopers. I've long been used to this. Captain America wears a steel armor called Patriot. The name was originally War Machine Rhodes, whose previous armor was named Iron Patriot. But out of respect for the old-timers, Colonel Lord eventually gave the name to Captain America. He himself simply uses the simpler and more direct name, War Machine. Tony just sent back the news that Superman has come to our world. It looks like they want to rescue the Flash and Aquaman. That's good news for us, no more Superman. The difficulty of retrieving the Power Stone has also been reduced a lot. Captain America is mobilizing everyone before the war. There are 2 tasks for their trip. The main mission is to retrieve the Power Stone, and the side mission is to find kryptonite in the DC universe and bring it back. I have already explained the task allocation very clearly, so I won't go into details here. At last, Captain America paused and looked around at everyone. Avengers, assemble. The iconic slogan was shouted by Captain America. But what he responded to was a moment of silence from the people around him. Ha 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 ha. Black Widow couldn't hold it back and laughed out loud. Sorry, Steve, I almost forgot you were from the last century. Avengers gather, ha ha ha. This slogan is so contemporary. Captain America has a black line. Forget it, let's go. Have no choice. Captain America had to give up the classic slogan segment. Everyone passed through the portal one after another. At the same time, Adelan on the far side of the moon also welcomed 3 uninvited guests. Listen, the Moon Man of the Marvel Universe. If you don't want the situation to escalate, I advise you to quickly release Barry Allen and Arthur Curry who are imprisoned by you. Superman hovers above Adelan's protective barrier. His voice became a torrent, directly penetrates the barrier. It resounded like thunder in the ears of every inhuman in Adelan. What a loud tone. Ares, the god of war, jumped up. Came in front of Superman, Wonder Woman, and Dr. Fate. Are you the Superman from that comic book? It doesn't look that strong. In Ares' perception, Superman's strength is nothing more than level Godfather. Similar to his father Zeus. Comics. Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate, who were still unaware, frowned. No. What is Superman in comics? Shouldn't you say Marvel is the comic book world? That's all reality for us in DC. Who are you? Superman didn't explain anything to his companions, but looked at Ares. Oh. I am the god of war on Mount Olympus, the son of Zeus, Ares. Ares holds the axe in his hand, he said with a fierce fighting spirit. Unexpectedly, as soon as these words came out, Superman and Dr. Destiny both turned to look at Wonder Woman. Diana definitely knew what these two were thinking. Reluctantly, he took a step forward. Ares, god of war, right? I've already killed one. Diana raised the sword of Vulcan and pointed it directly at Ares. This time it was Ares' turn to be confused. Who are you? Although the DC comics in the Marvel world are very comprehensive. But a tough guy like Ares is obviously not the kind of person who likes to read comic books. Her name is Diana, an Amazon female warrior, and also our sister from another world. Before Wonder Woman could introduce herself, Hercules, who has already done some evil work in DC Comics, took the lead in introducing Ares. Younger sister? You are also the son, daughter of Zeus. Ares glanced at Wonder Woman in surprise. Without waiting for Wonder Woman to answer, she nodded to herself. That's right, there doesn't seem to be anything strange about it. As the son of Zeus, Ares was well aware of his father's absurd behavior. Although not the same Zeus in the same universe. But as long as Zeus is still the worldview of Greek mythology, he cannot escape a bunch of illegitimate children and illegitimate daughters. How to say? Got used to. Shut up. Who is your sister? Wonder Woman obviously disagrees with Ares and Hercules. The point is, she doesn't want to be inferior to others for no reason. Hercules, it seems that our cheap sister doesn't want to recognize our two brothers. Ares, the god of war, still said jokingly, but Superman saw through his plan. Enough. Stop thinking about procrastinating. If you don't want to release the Flash and Aquaman, then don't blame me for being rude. Superman's eyes glowed red. You're welcome? Haha. You say it as if I would be afraid. Ares, the god of war, finished speaking. Jump up. The tomahawk in his hand struck straight at Superman. But not yet close. Bang. Wonder Woman hits a shield blow. Ares was knocked away directly from the side. Your opponent is me. Wonder Woman is suspended in the air, holding a divine shield in her left hand and a Vulcan sword in her right hand. The tip of the sword was pointed directly at Ares. Ah. Okay. Ares, who was knocked into space, shook his head. Then, he rounded up the tomahawk in his hand and threw it towards Wonder Woman. High-speed rotating battle axe, with the terrifying power to split everything. But Wonder Woman didn't panic, and dodged Ares' battle axe with a clean dodge. Throw more accurately next time, my cheap brother. Diana looked back at Ares, who was rushing over with bare hands, and mocked. Oh, that's so funny, Ares sneered. The thrown tomahawk suddenly stopped spinning. Then, like Mjolnir, go back the way you came, reverse rotation. Cut Diana from behind. What? Fortunately, the Amazon female warriors have rich combat experience. Wonder Woman sensed the danger immediately. Turn around sharply. Use the divine shield to block the returning battle axe. However, Ares, who was unarmed, took this opportunity and quickly approached. One punch. Knocked Wonder Woman away. Good sister. This is the shield attack you just made, and now I'm giving it back to you. After punching Diana away, Ares took the battle axe. Just about to continue the pursuit. Buzz. Two parallel red rays blocked his way. I've warned you. Superman shook each other's fists, his eyes glowing with a terrifying red light. Boom. With a loud noise, Superman disappeared instantly. Before Ares could react, Superman punched him to the moon. The speed of his fall directly exceeded the speed of sound. Oops. Adelaine. Princess Crystal briefly judged Ares' falling route. It was discovered that once Ares is allowed to crash into the moon at this speed, at least 1/3 of Adelaine's protective barrier will be destroyed. Tetanus. It's up to you, Crystal shouted. On the side, there is a pug that is 2 meters long and about the same size as a tiger. Suddenly teleported away. This big dog is called Tetanus and is an important partner of Crystal. Roar. Tetanus roared and disappeared from the spot. The figure appeared directly in midair, blocking Ares' falling path. The moment when the falling Ares is about to hit Tetanus. The big dog roared again. Extreme activates its teleportation ability. Boom. Accompanied by a sonic boom. Ares, who was supposed to be falling, was suddenly teleported to the sky above the city of Adelan. Then reverse. Flying towards the sky, through teleportation, Tetanus transformed Ares's falling potential energy into his rising potential energy. Well done, Tetanus. Crystal praised Tetanus's wit without hesitation. In the effort of Tetanus, Adelan's crisis has been resolved, and Ares has successfully returned to the battlefield outside the moon. Oh, damn, I'm going to throw up. But Ares himself was not so comfortable. He would rather be punched a few more times by Superman than experience that kind of forced teleportation again. At the same time, beyond the moon, Hercules is wrestling with Superman. Hercules had withstood a shot from the Chitauri's main ship before, and his injuries had not fully healed. Now he was wrestling with Superman's fists. The wounds on Hercules' body burst open one after another. Golden divine blood overflows. I am Hercules. I am Hercules. Hercules roared, exerting his power to the limit. The Greek stars on Mount Olympus shine for him. I have the power to lift up the sky. Hercules grabbed Superman's wrist, roared, and slowly opened it. Even Superman couldn't help but feel a little shocked. You are a powerful warrior, but I don't have time to waste time with you right now. Clark was shocked though. But the heat ray still shot out of the eyes, and knocked Hercules away. At the same time, Ares, who had returned, was suddenly frozen in a twisted space. It's Dr. Fate who takes action. Clark, you go rescue Barry and Arthur, leave these two to us. Diana raised her shield and rushed towards Hercules, who was knocked away. Good. Superman doesn't talk nonsense either. The longer they stay in the Marvel universe, the greater the risks. After Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman restrained Hercules and Ares, Superman changes direction directly, heading straight for Adelan on the moon. Boom. The city of Adelan had a barrier strong enough to withstand the main guns of battleships. Like paper. Knocked through by Superman. Ah. Run quickly. When the residents of Adelan saw this, they panicked and ran around. But fortunately, Superman does not kill innocent people indiscriminately. He glanced around and quickly located the location of Adelan prison. The next second. Boom, the outer wall of the prison was directly penetrated by Superman. Superman saw someone coming. Aquaman and the Flash were overjoyed. Aquaman, in particular, kept banging on the vibranium cell to attract Superman's attention. He is almost going crazy with the woman next door named Supergiant. Let me out quickly, Clark, Aquaman urged anxiously. Okay. Superman nodded. Heat rays shoot out of the eyes. But after burning for a long time, the vibranium cell remained motionless. What material is this? Superman stopped heat ray in surprise. Walking to the vibranium cell, he grabbed the cell door with both hands and started to exert force. Vibranium, the main material of Captain America's shield, can withstand Mjolnir's full blow. Even Superman had to try his best to barely shake it. Ah! With Superman's full strength, the cell made of vibranium finally began to twist, shapeshifting. Along with the terrifying sound of metal deformation, a gap gradually appeared for one person to pass through. Well done. Clark, you did it. Aquaman was excited. Just as he thought about it, a figure suddenly appeared behind Superman. It's Black Bolt. He was hiding inside the prison. In a lead-made room that can isolate Superman's see-through eyes, Superman is waiting to appear. Careful. The Flash, who was imprisoned on the other side, was able to see Black Bolt. But he had just sounded the alarm. Black Bolt has already opened his mouth. Here, Black Bolt holds nothing back. For the first time, he shouted at the loudest level. Before that, they had cleared out all the residents in the attack path. So Black Bolt doesn't have to worry about accidentally hurting others. No. Welcome. Welcome, you, Black Bolt roared. His voice formed a substantial shockwave. Aha. The terrifying energy suppressed Superman and made him unable to move. Superman's super hearing brought him greater pain, and blood flowed from both ears. This is the first time Superman bleeds in battle. That blood is red. Boom boom boom, Black Bolt's roar continued to expand outward. Half of the walls of Adelan prison were turned into powder. Along with the rows of buildings outside, as well as half of Adelan's barrier, they were all destroyed. Finally, this terrifying energy enters space. Destroyed countless meteorites and space junk left over from the previous war. Just as a battle broke out on the moon, the other side. Captain America, War Machine, Black Widow, Quicksilver, Black Panther, Ant-Man, and Cersei of the Eternals who passed through the portal. A group of 7 people came to the DCEU universe together. Thank you Eternals for coming to support us. Before crossing the portal, Captain America, wearing Patriot armor, thanked Cersei. You're welcome. And I only speak for myself. Cersei waved her hand. ever since what happened with Akari's. There are a total of 9 members of the Eternal Group, and Chu Shu was arrested on the spot. Among the remaining 6 people, 2 are disabled, 1 is insane, and 1 has been deprived of super ability. Today, only Circe and the female warrior Tina are left among the Eternals who are still capable of fighting. However, Tina has announced her complete retirement and will no longer interfere in anything. The Eternals on Earth exist in name only. Therefore, Circe's trip can only represent her personal wishes. Okay, thank you personally. A group of 7 people passed through the portal. The moment you arrive at the DC universe, the hot and dry air hits your face. Desert. No, it's Egypt. What everyone sees is a desolate desert. Several pyramids in the distance are particularly eye-catching. It seems that something interfered with the teleportation coordinates. Make us offset a little bit. Ant-Man Stecco holds the energy detector designed by Dr. Pym. After looking around, the instrument pointed in the direction of the pyramids. Detected. The energy wave frequency matches. It's the Power Stone. As Ant-Man's words fell, everyone looked in the direction of pyramids. Why would they put infinite gems in pyramids? Is it possible that you plan to use this thing to summon the Pharaoh? War Machine Rhodes seized the opportunity to make precise remarks. I feel like something's not quite right. I'll hide first. The female agent's keen sense of smell. Black Widow felt a little uneasy. She immediately activated the invisibility function of her armor. This armor, called Phantom, has the most advanced optical stealth module. After activation, the Black Widow quickly disappeared from everyone's eyes as the light was distorted. Even the original footprints on the sand. It also disappeared with the activation of the armor's anti-gravity system. Now she has truly become an elusive Black Widow. War Machine Rhodes joked. Even as friendly forces. His armor's scanning function cannot detect Black Widow. Hey, don't say bad things about me, I can hear you. Oh thanks, you scared me to death. The sudden sound beside him startled Colonel Rhodes. Okay, stop making trouble. Anyway, we have arrived near the power gem. Even if there is an ambush, we must complete our mission. Captain America said it. Close the armor's visor. Rhodes, please go up to the air and provide us with fire assistance when necessary. No problem. War Machine Rhodes closed his visor. A hot particle beam shot out from under his feet, flying into the sky. Quicksilver, Ant-Man, you two were responsible for capturing the infinite gems. Natasha Romanoff, you, just hide. Everyone else, follow me. Captain America's arrangements are complete. Some people quickly rushed in the direction of the pyramids. They're coming. On a sand dune far away from Captain America and his group. Batman wears a classic windproof suit, the one with a decadent style. Wearing windproof glasses, the cloak is already covered with sand and dust. Now, he was using the screen on his arm. Looking at the picture of Captain America and his group captured by the satellite. 6 people. Batman looked at Captain America and his group on the screen. Quickly jot down the characteristics of these people in your mind. 2 exoskeleton suits, a dark tight-fitting battlesuit, and an atom-like battlesuit. A young man with silver hair, and an ordinary-looking Asian woman. This silver-haired boy should be the speedster Atom calls. It needs focus. Batman quickly analyzed the threat level of this group of people. The 2 people wearing exoskeleton armor should be ordinary people, with an average threat level. Judging from the shape, one of them should be the War Machine mentioned in the comics. Another. I think it could be Captain America. Batman analyzed the identities of the 2 based on the national flag painting on the Patriot armor. At the same time, it was also determined that the danger level of these 2 people was low. As for the most dangerous of the bunch, Batman set his sights on the Asian woman. No battlesuit, no protective clothing, no exoskeleton armor, just ordinary casual clothes. This behavior proves that she is either a fool or she is confident enough. There is no corresponding character in the comics. Batman frowned. Having too little information about the Marvel world was a problem he could never get around. But fortunately, he was well prepared for this battle. This is a surefire game. Victor, did he agree? Batman turned on the communicator and contacted Cyborg on the other side. Northern Sinai Peninsula. A country called Kandak. Bruce, this guy is a little angry when he wakes up, but... He agreed. Cyborg responded to Batman's message in an underground tomb. Next to him, a bald man who was even bigger and stronger than Superman was standing in the air. He wears a tight-fitting black battlesuit with a huge amount of yellow lightning symbol on his chest. That's good. Hear the answer on the other side of the communicator. Batman nodded. Turn around and get on the Bat motorcycle, twist the throttle, and drive in the direction of the pyramids. The other side. Captain America and his team have arrived at the place where the energy waves of the Power Stone are frequently emitted. The specific location is not within the pyramids, but at the feet of the pyramids, a research base that was obviously newly built. It seems they just found a remote place to study. Pity. I thought they were going to summon the Pharaoh. War Machine Rhodes hovered in the sky for a while. By scanning, he found that there were only some ordinary human soldiers and researchers in this research base. There is not even a single super ability person. Captain, it seems that this mission is a bit of a waste. It's always a good idea to err on the side of caution. Captain America also approached the research base. Seeing that the busy people inside were indeed a group of ordinary people, I immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Pietro, go get the gems back and try not to hurt these people. Good. Quicksilver nodded. It instantly turned into a silver lightning and rushed into the research base. Then he never came out again. Pietro? Quicksilver. Please reply if you hear me. Captain America shouted twice, and when he found that he didn't get a reply, he suddenly realized that something was wrong. No need to shout. The speedster has fallen asleep. A voice suddenly appeared in Captain America's ears. The next second, the human soldiers and researchers who had gathered in the research base appeared. One by one they disappeared like dreamy bubbles. The entire research base, it became empty in an instant. It's telepathy, source of the Eternals. Immediately realize that everyone has fallen into the hallucination of a telepath. The human soldiers and researchers in that so-called research base are all fake. It's Martian Manhunter, Ant-Man, who had done something wrong in the comics, guessed the attacker. Really, after all those false illusions disappeared. A green figure came out, holding Quicksilver, who had fallen into a coma, in his hand. This is a trap. After Martian Manhunter appears, Captain America immediately realized that the energy frequency of the power gem they detected was probably fake. But now, even if they knew it was a trap, they had no choice but to bite the bullet. Because Quicksilver got caught, Captain America won't consider evacuating until Quicksilver is rescued. Because the Avengers will never abandon any of their companions. Rod. Understood, Captain, in the air. War Machine Rhodes immediately aimed the barrel of the Gatling cannon at Martian Manhunter. Because I am afraid of accidentally injuring Quicksilver. He did not dare to use other weapons of mass destruction. But the 6-barreled Vulcan cannon on the shoulder roared and spit out tongues of fire. Bullet? Martian Manhunter didn't even bother to hide. Even if its physical strength is not as strong as Superman, it can still be ranked among the top 3 in the Justice League. Bullets are a complete tickle for it, but the next second, Martian Manhunter paid a small price for its arrogance. Buzz, accompanied by the roar of the Vulcan cannon. A string of fire snakes hit the ground, swept across, and directly knocked Martian Manhunter away. The bullet was embedded in its body that was harder than steel. Ah! Mars Hunter struggled to get up. It pulled out a warhead from its body and squeezed it hard, only to find that the warhead did not move at all. Idiot. Do you think we haven't read DC Comics? War Machine Rhodes targets Martian Manhunter again. I know your body is very strong, but if I use vibranium bullets, how should you respond? Bruce, Martian Manhunter gave its solution. Dodge plus shake people. Martian Manhunter, who had suffered a loss once, no longer dared to stand still and take the damage from War Machine. Buzz. As the Vulcan cannon roared again, Martian Manhunter immediately used his flight ability to dodge the vibranium bullet. While dodging, Martian Manhunter once again activated his telepathy ability, trying to control War Machine's brain. Psychic attack detected. Electric shock begins. But at the moment Colonel Rhodes' brain was about to be controlled. An electric current that was neither strong nor weak was suddenly released from inside the armor. Rhodes' brain was shocked with electricity, brought him back to his senses. Oh, this taste is really unpleasant. After waking up, Rhodes opened up his firepower and fired multiple micro-cannonballs from his arms and shoulders. You defended my ability. Martian Manhunter was shocked. At the moment when he briefly invaded Rhodes' brain, he read a memory. That was Tony Stark's memory when he added a psychic defense device to Rhodes' armor. In fact, whether it's Marvel or DC, the think tanks on both sides are not idle. Especially Tony Stark. During this period he developed and designed a large number of defense and attack methods for everyone in the DC universe. Among them is this mental defense device against Martian Manhunter. In fact, this set, Tony has a copy for everyone, including Quicksilver. But because everyone knows, Quicksilver refuses to use any weapons or props produced by Tony Stark. This resulted in him falling under the mental control of Martian Manhunter and falling into a coma. I'm going to save Quicksilver, See Martian Manhunter being temporarily forced back by War Machine. Captain America just wanted to rush over to save people. Boom. Boom. Two rockets flew from a distance, directly blocking Captain America's advance route. Batman riding a Batmobile came speeding from a distance. The moment he was about to hit Captain America, Batman suddenly jumped away from the Batmobile. The bat cloak behind him suddenly unfolded, forming a glider, allowing him to fall steadily. The out-of-control Batmobile hit Captain America like a missile. Boom. Accompanied by a loud bang. The Batmobile explodes into a ball of fire. But when the flames dissipate, Captain America, who was wearing armor, was unscathed and appeared kneeling on one knee, holding a shield. There is also an energy shield in front of the shield. That's right. It's Wakanda's energy shield technology. Batman. You are a well-known hero in our world, and you have a big fan. Captain America stood up slowly after surviving the explosion. Holding the shield in his left hand, he flicked his right hand. The armor ejected 10 capable swords. Batman was silent. He knows that comics are definitely different from reality. This is too much of a difference. Fortunately, Batman didn't come alone, although it looked like he was the only one in his Batmobile. But from a micro perspective, the shrunken Atom has already approached Captain America. Sorry, man. Atom suddenly becomes larger. File size suddenly turned from an ant to a giant. As it grew bigger, it punched Captain America on the chin from bottom to top. Captain America was caught off guard and was punched straight away. It hit the Gobi Desert in the distance. Scott. Just when Atom turned into a giant, he was about to continue attacking Captain America. Black Panther shouted, "Leave it to me." The second-generation Ant-Man Scott immediately pressed the enlargement button in his hand. Ha 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 ha. Let's fight someone with the same size as you. Scott, who also turned into a giant, laughed and rushed towards Atom. Two giants collided with each other. The two were equally powerful. With every collision, huge amounts of sound will erupt. After the Black Panther finished speaking, he rushed directly towards Batman. The two fighting masters began to fight. Very primitive fighting skills. Did you learn them in the jungle? Batman, who is just an ordinary person, is obviously not as powerful as Black Panther, who drank heart-shaped grass. But his fighting skills are even more exquisite. Black Panther was suppressed in 2 or 3 blows. He hit Black Panther with several punches in succession. But not before Batman attacks a few more times. I saw the part of the Black Panther battlesuit that was attacked glowing with purple light. I'll return these punches to you. The Black Panther battlesuit brings together Batman's attack potential. It exploded violently, knocking Batman back. Ahem. Batman fell to the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood. At the same time, he asked in the communication channel, "Cyborg, how long until it arrives?" Boom, unexpectedly, the words just fell. There was a sound explosion above everyone's heads. Already arrived. At the same time, Cyborg's voice also sounded from the channel. Answered Batman's question just now, he already arrived. Accompanied by that supersonic sonic boom. A burly figure suddenly appeared in front of everyone at Marvel, looking around with a stern look. Shazam. No, it's Black Adam. Captain America and others who had read the comics recognized this person's identity. It's Big Rock Strong. Well, not Black Adam, who has been sealed away for thousands of years. Dr. Fate knew Black Adam's sealed place through the precognition ability of the Naboo god, and told Batman before leaving. Is that just a few? Black Adam hung in the air, his eyes scanning the Avengers Alliance. The next second, his figure disappeared instantly. Boom. Then the sonic boom sounded later. Captain. Be careful. Captain. Be careful. Black Panther just sent out a reminder, but it was too late. As the top figure in the DC universe, he often competes with Superman. Black Adam's random movement exceeds the speed of sound several times. Before Captain America could see clearly what was happening, he felt his body light up and the scene in front of him quickly receded. Boom, Captain America was punched out by Black Adam. It hit the pyramids behind like a cannonball, shattering the boulder weighing several tons into pieces. Warning. The armor is seriously damaged. Cough cough. Captain America and his armor were directly mounted on a boulder on the pyramids. Terrible impact. Made Captain America cough up a mouthful of blood inside the armor. The armor made of gold and titanium alloy had a big hole ripped open by Black Adam's punch. To know. This material has been used by Tony Stark for a long time, and has been used exclusively by Mark-46. Carrying a tank shell, it only leaves a shallow scratch on the material. As a result, it was broken open by Black Adam's punch and almost penetrated. Time to remind Stark to use vibranium. Captain America struggled, trying to climb out of the pyramids. However, before he could come out, Black Adam disappeared again. To be precise, his speed was so fast that Captain America could not catch his movements at all. Boom. Another loud noise. This time, War Machine fell directly from the sky. Black Adam is not going to let him go yet. He flew directly under War Machine at a faster speed and caught the falling War Machine with both hands, grabbing his head with one hand and his feet with the other. Then he hit his knee hard. Caca, accompanied by a terrible snapping sound. War Machine's back collided with Black Adam's knee. Together with the exoskeleton armor, and the spine of the War Machine inside, it was bent dozens of degrees. Ah! War Machine fainted instantly. Black Adam threw it casually, and the War Machine hit the ground like a cannonball. What the hell? When the giant Ant-Man saw this, he was so frightened that he immediately shrunk in size. And at the moment he shrank, boom, Black Adam suddenly appeared at his original location with a sonic boom. The punch missed. Black Adam looked around. It instantly locked onto Ant-Man, who had shrunk to the size of Ant-File. Oh, pricking in vain. After Black Adam said that, he flew directly to the side of the Sphinx. Put your hands into the stone. Then he forcibly lifted the statue of huge amounts. On the side, Adam, who originally wanted to reduce his size, was chasing Ant-Man. Seeing this scene, Saozi was so frightened that she ran away. At the same time, Ant-Man, who had shrunk to the size of an ant-file, was running when he suddenly noticed a black spot above his head. Look up. Then we saw Black Adam holding up a huge sphinx. It crashed down like the top of a mountain. Oh, shit. Ant-Man's eyes widened. Just when he was about to continue shrinking, when he was about to shrink himself into the quantum realm to hide. A figure suddenly appeared. It's Circe, facing the sphinx smashed down by Black Adam. Circe slowly raised a hand. Ah, Ant-Man closes his eyes. But neither the imagined explosion nor the loud noise happened. Instead, a refreshing aroma wafted from the surroundings. When I opened my eyes, I saw the huge sphinx touching Circe's palm. It turned into a sky full of rose petals. Countless petals fell down, directly burying Ant-Man inside. Even Circe herself was overwhelmed by the sea of flowers. But as soon as she waved her hand, the sea of flowers turned into air again and disappeared in an instant. Material reorganization? Seeing this scene, Black Adam also showed a solemn expression. Circe's Eternal's ability is outrageous. She can change the material she touches into any structure. In the movie, she even turned the half-awakened god Tiamu into a stone statue. Definitely. Circe was able to accomplish such a feat. A large part of the reason is because Tiamu himself is unwilling to destroy the Earth. Voluntarily allowed Circe to rewrite its own structure. After sensing the threat from Circe, Black Adam did not rashly choose to attack at close range. Instead, he hung in the air and quietly observed Circe for a while. Then came the conclusion. It seems like your ability must be touched, right? Circe's face changed. She didn't expect Black Adam to discover the shortcomings of her abilities so quickly. She must be in contact with reality to activate her ability. Ah, Black Adam sneered. His ability comes from the Egyptian gods. When he said the word, Shazam, he gained the power of the gods. S stands for Shu endurance. H represents the speed of Horus. A stands for the power of Amen. Z stands for the wisdom of Zeuti. A represents the divine power of Aton. M stands for Mihen's courage. Among them, the wisdom of Thoth gave Black Adam sharp insight and rich knowledge. Let him discover Circe's weakness at a glance. Let me see if you can rewrite this one too. Black Adam pointed at Circe from the air, a flash of lightning shooting out from his fingertips. Careful. At the critical moment, Black Panther rushed forward. But he apparently still underestimated Black Adam's lightning. This is not an ordinary thunder and lightning, but a divine thunder containing the power of Aten. Ah. Just for a moment. The energy storage device of the vibranium battlesuit has been absorbed to its upper limit. The remaining energy hit Black Panther and Circe without any resistance. Boom, accompanied by a loud noise. Circe and Black Panther were all knocked away. Especially the Black Panther who was blocking the front was knocked hundreds of meters away. When it landed, it was like floating on water. It rolled several times before stopping, and then became motionless. Ahem, Circe was better, but also fell to the ground. A stream of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. That's what you said. Powerful invaders from Otherworld. Black Adam turned his questioning eyes to Batman. Meaning, with these vulnerable guys, is it necessary to go to such great lengths? Keep your promise, Adam. Beat them quickly. Batman wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and got up from the ground. From the time Black Adam appeared until now, in just a few seconds, he severely injured the 6 people who came from Marvel. Only the speedster at the beginning was defeated by Martian Manhunter. Sudden, Batman's eyes narrowed. Because he found that the silver-haired speedster who was lying on the ground unconscious was missing. Looks like someone didn't learn math well. Black Widow suddenly emerges from invisibility. The phantom armor that perfectly fits her body curve pops out a dagger. Caught in Black Widow's hand, a sudden knife stabbed Batman in the waist. Aha! The moment Batman is attacked. Black Adam also discovers Black Widow, who has been invisible. In fact, this kind of optical invisibility cannot be hidden from him at all. But Black Adam's attention has always been on other people, and the intelligence provided by Batman has always been 6 intruders, so he never considered the existence of a 7th person. Until Black Widow took the initiative to emerge from invisibility. However, just when Black Adam was about to attack Black Widow, a silver lightning flashed into his eyes. It's Quicksilver. Black Widow woke him up. I use my blood to summon the wrath of Emperor Wyshan. Quicksilver, the speedster, roared angrily and instantly unleashed Kamar Taj's top forbidden technique. The dazzling incandescence appeared in front of everyone's eyes. With the power to destroy heaven and earth. Let's go. Quicksilver didn't have time to take a closer look at the effect of this energy. After the explanation is completed, he immediately used his speed to the limit. Because Quicksilver is going to save people. Marvel. Attilan. Black Bolt's onomatopoeia spread from the moon into space. Wonder Woman and Dr. Fate immediately sensed the horror of this power. Superman is in danger. Diana flicked the shield with her backhand, sending Hercules flying. Turn around and want to go to the moon for support. But before she could make any move, buzz. 2 red rays burst out from the surface of the moon, directly interrupting the endless stream of terrifying sound waves visible to the naked eye. At the moment, only half of Attilan prison remains. The other half of the entire building was in ashes. All objects blocking Black Bolt's attack path were turned into powder. Supergiant, Red Skull, the Flash and others imprisoned in prison. All the ears were bleeding and he fell into coma. Arthur, the only Aquaman who was not unconscious, was huddled in the corner of the cell, blood oozing from his ears. He had wanted to escape from this cell for 9 or 7 years. But now, Namor had to admit that this cell made of vibranium saved his life. And just outside Namor's cell, Superman knelt down on one knee, blood dripping from both ears. The constant sound waves are like wave after wave, making it difficult for Superman to get up. His ears were buzzing. Super hearing brought him twice as much pain. Clark, we know you very well, and we have analyzed every ability you have. We know you have super hearing. And this means that sonic attacks will cause you more trouble. Black Bolt said slowly. Every word spoken will turn into a terrifying onomatopoeic wave, bombarding Superman. And Superman can only raise one hand. Try to block this force. I don't doubt that. Superman gritted his teeth. Withstanding Black Bolt's attack, he held on and stood up little by little. But if you think this is enough to defeat me, then you are absolutely wrong. Superman just finished speaking. Full of rage, it turns into 2 parallel heat rays and bursts out. Black Bolt saw this and quickly dodged, but he was still a step too late and was hit by heat ray on his left shoulder. Instant penetration. The entire left arm was almost severed by Superman's ray. And Superman's heat ray continues to trend. The red laser directly cut through the other half of the Attilan prison wreckage, and then shot it from the moon into space. Black Bolt was just about to continue attacking. Superman with red eyes instantly moved in front of him. The palm of his hand was like an iron pincer, grabbing Black Bolt's chin and squeezing it tightly. Superman doesn't like dodging. This is actually a kind of arrogance. It is the absolute confidence brought by absolute strength. And this kind of arrogance has also led to Superman suffering at the hands of many enemies. He won't eat it a second time. Well, Superman's palm gripped Black Bolt's chin like an iron pincer. Make it unable to make a sound. Is this all your plan? If that's the case, it proves that you don't know me well enough. Superman's eyes were red, matching the slightly ferocious expression caused by pain. As terrifying as a demon king, he. But Black Bolt is not afraid. Instead, he forced a laugh out of his throat. Then, Black Bolt opened his palm, and there was a line on it that he had written long ago. Look at your feet. Superman lowered his head sharply. The dust cleared. A teleportation circle arranged in advance has already lit up. Superman Clark didn't finish his words. The whole person was sucked into it by the activated teleportation magic. Everything goes dark when you open your eyes again. Superman is already in limbo, which is full of lava and obsidian. The moment Superman was teleported over, at his feet, the nuclear weapons wrapped in lead have entered the countdown. In order to set up this fatal situation, Tony Stark specially borrowed a gigaton mushroom from Mao Shang. Welcome to hell, God on Earth. By the way, you don't mind if I call you this, right? Just when Superman was teleported over, he was about to observe the surrounding environment. A Mark armor that had been waiting here for a long time fell from the sky, and Tony Stark's voice came from inside. Tony Stark? Superman turned and looked at the armor. But he discovered that there was something inside the armor that blocked his X-ray vision. Lead again. I guess this is a remote control machine? Because you dare not appear in front of me. Superman said coldly. That's right. Tony's voice came from inside Mark's armor again. And he himself is still in the T-Engine Bureau base. Speaking of which, Tony also has to thank Namor for proposing the bilateral trade agreement. It is because of this agreement that a fixed channel was established between Earth and Limbo. Otherwise, Tony Stark would never be able to remotely control the Mark armor in hell from Earth. Clark, do you know what's the biggest problem with being an invincible Superman? Tony Stark continued. He never stops, in order not to give Superman time to observe his surroundings. Yes, as Tony said at the beginning, this is a surefire game. What is it? Clark already sensed something was wrong. But his X-ray vision was blocked by lead and he could not see the countdown nuclear bomb. Inside the Space Sky Sword Bureau base, Tony raised his arm and glanced at the countdown on his watch. Then he said coldly, when a person is invincible, he will no longer have a sense of crisis. That's the biggest problem with being Superman. Tony just finished speaking. A dazzling incandescence rises from the ground of Limbo. Zitza, the picture sent back by Mark's armor was interrupted instantly. Tony took a deep breath and slowly took off the glasses of the remote control armor. The God-killing plan is completed, accompanied by heavy words. Tony stood up. Put on the battle armor. At the same time. Beyond the moon. Dr. Fate seems to have noticed something. Immediately threw out a golden energy and knocked Ares away. Then he was teleported to Wonder Woman, Diana. Diana. I lost my sense of Superman, he's gone. What? Wonder Woman fighting Hercules. He almost hit Dr. Destiny in the teleported face with his sword. After listening to what Dr. Destiny said in Chapter 2.3. Diana was shocked. You mean Clark is missing? It could be worse than that. Dr. Fate turned around. See you. Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Fist, Wasp, Falcon, Punisher. Black Bolt, Crystal, Namor, Mordo, Medusa. 2 groups of men and horses surrounded the 2 of them from the 2 directions of the Earth and the Moon. All wearing steel armor or space protective suits provided by Star-Lord. We have to get out of here, Diana. What about Clark? Time is running out. We have to leave quickly. Dr. Fate yelled. The power of Naboo God bursts out from the golden helmet. Wrapped up with him and Wonder Woman, they were transported back to the DC universe along the original crack. For Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman to teleport away. Marvel people are far away. Nothing can be done. I could only watch the 2 figures disappear from a distance. It's a pity that we let them run away, Namor sighed. If only Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman could be dealt with. Then the DC universe next door really has no fight. Okay, content yourself with this. We'll be done with just one Superman. Sorry. I just remembered that I can't open the champagne at half-time. Tony Stark swallowed back the flag he said in mid-sentence. Their plan was already half successful. Now we are waiting for Captain America and others to retrieve the Power Stone from the DC universe. I don't know Steve and the others. Oops. Tony didn't finish his sentence. Modu let out an exclamation. At the same time, Jarvis also transmitted the scene just taken to Tony's eyes. That's the Avengers Alliance's ground headquarters. The portal guarded by the Wasp suddenly lights up. Then almost instantly, Captain America, War Machine, Ant-Man, Black, Circe, Black Widow. All 6 people were brought back by Quicksilver. Sir, Colonel Rhodes is in critical condition. The medical team is on the way. What? Listen to Jarvis's report. Tony was shocked. He quickly opened the communication and asked. Steve. Can you hear me? What exactly happened to you over there, and why? Tony hasn't finished speaking yet. Captain America's weak voice sounded from the channel. We were ambushed. It was a trap. Tony. Boom. Tony felt a thunderbolt in his head. Yes, when you do everything possible to plot against others, why aren't others plotting against you? Tony slowly raised his head. This moment. His gaze seemed to penetrate the barrier of the universe. Directly eye to eye with DC Universe's Batman. You didn't expect that, Tony. At the same time, Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman teleported back to the DC Universe. He also told everyone in the Justice League that they were ambushed and Superman was tricked into disappearing. Damn it. Batman Bruce punched the table. The moment he raised his head, in a trance, everyone around them disappeared. The conference room was dark. Then a man wearing steel armor with a cynical smile on his face sat across from the conference room. One move away, Bruce Wayne. F*K. I can't accept this segment being edited into a movie without a box office of $5 billion. Above Earth in the DC Universe. Choo-Choo and Wanda had just finished enjoying the last scene of this performance. In less than half a day, Zheng Lian and Avengers Alliance, you will appear on the stage and I will finish singing. The think tanks on both sides racked their brains to lay traps for each other. Choo-Choo was very happy to see it. During this half day, he took Wanda back and forth between the two universes, giving full play to the nature of watching the excitement without taking it too seriously. Wanda, how many likes do you think I can get if I post this online? Choo-Choo looked at his phone, which was full of exciting battle scenes. Just click on one. It happens to be the scene where War Machine is beaten by Black Adam. Mr. Choo-Choo, we are going too far. Wanda couldn't bear it. She feels that Choo-Choo is becoming more and more like a villain now. And he is the kind of person who lives behind the scenes, the ultimate villain. Ha ha ha. Look at this section, Rod has to use a wheelchair again. It seems that no matter which universe the War Machine is in, it will inevitably end up with the fate of paralysis of the lower body. Seeing the scene of General Rhodes being beaten, Choo-Choo laughed heartlessly. If it were anyone else like this, he might secretly do a favor and save his life. But War Machine. Sorry, I'm not familiar with it. Choo-Choo vaguely remembered that when he was serving food in the Avengers Alliance cafeteria, he asked for a meal card, but Rhodes didn't agree. What should we do now? How about we get the Power Stone back and end this? Wanda didn't want to see anyone get hurt again, so she suggested. It's not impossible. Choo-Choo nodded. Although I didn't see the long-awaited classic showdowns like Batman vs. Iron Man and Quicksilver vs. The Flash. But that's about it. If the fight continues, both sides will probably figure out how to destroy each other's world. That defeats the purpose of watching the excitement in the first place. Let's go down and follow Gale. Choo-Choo just wanted to go down and say hello to Wonder Woman to end this ridiculous duel. Boom. A huge energy pillar. Shot directly from space to the Earth of the DC Universe. As the Earth shook and the mountains shook, a long and narrow island country on the Asian continent was directly sunk. Seawater pours in. The entire island plate sank into the sea. Oh, people are old and their reactions are slower, otherwise they could be saved. You didn't even move. At the same time, Choo-Choo's mind was exposed by Wanda. A huge fleet descends on Earth. The shot just now was the first wave of attack when the fleet arrived. The fleet arrives on Earth. Countless demonoids poured out from it. The commander of this huge fleet is the Steppenwolf of Apocalypse. 110 following Darkseid's instructions before disappearing. They prepared and waited for the day when the two universes collided and created a rift. And now, the collision begins. The biggest gap in the universe is on this planet. Steppenwolf looks down upon the Earth. Dicid, a scientist on Apocalypse, detected many cracks caused by the collision. Finally came to the conclusion. Only if the cracks on the Earth are large enough and stable enough can the entire fleet pass through. Set off. The great Darkseid is waiting for us in another universe. With a wave of his hand, Steppenwolf descended on the Earth. And the moment he stepped onto the surface, a picture suddenly came to his mind. That. 3 cube boxes. Mother box. Steppenwolf was overjoyed. Originally, their goal was just to pass through this planet. The purpose was to go to the Marvel Universe next door, but I didn't expect that there would be an unexpected harvest on this planet. It's better to conquer this planet first, and then go to the Marvel Universe after collecting all the mother boxes. Having a mother. Conquering the Marvel Universe should be a lot easier. Steppenwolf's eyes are full of intelligence. That's right. That's it. Darkseid would be proud of me. I'm so smart. Watch as Steppenwolf leads an army of demonoids to descend on Earth. Choo-Choo and Wanda were both silent, because the sense of déjà vu in this scene is so familiar. First, Darkseid disappeared, and then his men tried to seize a treasure that would destroy the world. Leading a fleet to invade the Earth. If I weren't sure Corvus Glaive would be dead. I even doubt whether Corvus Glaive is directing them behind them. Choo-Choo shook his head. Darkseid was exiled to the Supreme Dimension by him, and his life and death are unknown. As a result, its men, just like Thanos' men, ran out and jumped around. With Superman not here, they really may not be able to defeat him. Chu Shu looked down from high in the sky. Everyone in the Justice League has discovered Steppenwolf's invasion and has begun to resist. But due to the lack of Superman, the Flash, Aquaman, and especially the lack of Superman, the top combat power, the people of Junglian are no match for Steppenwolf's army. Are we going to go down and help them? Wanda asked. Chu Shu didn't answer immediately, but looked down for a while. Superman's metropolis has now been razed to the ground and turned into a battlefield between the two forces. All members of the Justice League and Justice Society are dispatched, including the Suicide Squad, which is all villains. Even on the battlefield, get to see some of the elite talent coming out of Arkham Asylum. But despite this, the one-sided battle situation still cannot be restored. After all, Steppenwolf has mobilized a group of elite soldiers under Darkseid's command. Even Black Adam has encountered a formidable enemy that is difficult to solve, and that is Darkseid's son Kalibak. Kalibak possesses unimaginable brute strength. Even Black Adam, who possesses Amon's divine power, cannot take advantage of Kalibak in terms of power. Not to mention others. Wonder Woman Diana brought a group of Amazon female warriors from Paradise Island. But this still can't change the situation of the battle. Because these Amazon female warriors were quickly suppressed by the Nemesis team led by the Kind Grandmother. Nemesis team. This is Darkseid's elite special force. Every member inside is composed of new Protoss women from the Apocalypse planet. They have super strong physical fitness, superb martial arts skills, and extremely cruel personalities. They can't win. Wanda made her decision. But Chu Shu has a completely different opinion. Uncertain. Chu Shu's eyes fell on Batman. At the moment, Grandpa Bat started his classic move and hide skills mode again, also called battlefield shopping. Relying on the Bat Claw gun and the Bat Cloak, Batman swings around the battlefield, flying left and right. Move flexibly to avoid beams of energy rays, surprisingly unscathed. With Batman here, the Justice League will not necessarily lose. As Batman's #1 fan, Chu Shu is full of confidence in his idol. Wanda obviously doesn't understand this kind of fandom behavior. Especially seeing Batman flying around like a fly on the battlefield, with no output at all. Wanda couldn't understand it even more. He doesn't have Superman's ability, so why can he affect the battle situation? Because I am Batman. After Chu Shu played a trick, he took out 5 gems, blue, green, red, yellow and orange, from his pocket. I picked one up casually like a jelly bean and looked at it carefully. The light from the gem has begun to spread outward. This means the integration of the two universes has begun. Infinite gems, which were originally unusable in the DC universe, are gradually being unsealed. We need to end this. Chu Shu hasn't finished speaking yet. The 5 infinite gems in his hand suddenly flashed together. When I looked down, I saw that the Power Stone that had been hidden by Batman in the Justice League headquarters was gone. To be precise, the Power Stone returned from the DC universe to the Marvel universe. You are worthy of being the #1 troublemaker in DC. You can stir up a situation like this. Chu Shu felt it slightly, and then left the DC universe with Wanda. As for Steppenwolf's invasion, it doesn't matter, as long as Batman is here, everything will be fine. Why, you ask? Because he is Batman, Marvel Universe. A destructive purple energy burst out. Wherever the energy passed, a street in New York was directly reduced to nothing. Ha 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 ha. A maniacal laughter came from the ruined streets. It's DC Joker. After he escaped from Arkham Asylum, he received news from Harley Quinn. With Harley Quinn's cooperation inside and outside, and Batman and others being attracted by Steppenwolf's attention, he successfully stole the Power Stone hidden in Junglian headquarters, and came to the Marvel Universe through the portal built by Cyborg. Ah ha ha ha. What a good joke, ha 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 ha. Joker's laughter grew louder and crazier. Even Harley Quinn, who had traveled through time with him, felt a little scared at this time. Pudding? Are you okay? Oh, Harley. I'm so good. I've never felt so good. Joker turned around sharply. His eyes have turned dark purple under the influence of the power gem, which is very evil. The big mouth painted with Joker's smile extends all the way to the back of the ears. It looks extremely ferocious, as the most destructive gem among the 6 infinite gems. The power gem cannot be used with bare hands. Even Star-Lord with a demigod physique can only hold it reluctantly. But Joker's luck is excellent, because Batman had planned to use the Power Stone as a weapon. To this end, Cyborg created a vessel similar to the Infinity Gauntlet out of Promethean metal. But there is only one mounting hole, and the reason why this thing works is because its prototype is Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet. When Thanos traveled to the DC universe, the Power Stone was embedded in the Infinity Gauntlet. It's just that the battle with Superman later damaged the glove. And now, Joker became the biggest beneficiary of all this coincidence. Harley, let's play a game. Joker clenched his fists, smiled crazily, and then released energy indiscriminately around him. Soon. This crazy move attracted the Avengers. Stop, you. Joker? Tony Stark fell from the sky and was slightly shocked when he saw Joker's face clearly. But then there was anger, as the streets were destroyed all around. Do you think you're still in Gotham, Joker? Tony was furious. New York is not a place where you can be arrogant. As Tony's words fell, Hulk, Hawkeye, Daredevil, Iron Fist and Ares and Hercules who came back from the moon. A group of Avengers descended from the sky and surrounded Shao Shan. There was murderous intent in his eyes. Very good, he also delivered the power gem to your door. Wearing steel armor, Hawkeye shoots an arrow with a bow. But the arrow was destroyed by a burst of energy released by Joker at will. Ha 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 ha. Why are you so serious about such an interesting thing? Joker laughed heartily, not afraid of the heroes around him. Moon. Although Atalan Prison was damaged during the battle, the cells made of vibranium remained intact. Supergiant, Red Skull, Aquaman, and the Flash, all four of them, including their cells, were moved to another area for detention. Aquaman Arthur sat on the ground bored. The long period of brainwashing has brought his spirit to the edge of semi-collapse. Palace Uyalicker. When Supergiant's voice came from next door again. Aquaman had already instinctively picked up the next sentence. 180 a cup. As soon as these words came out. Red Skull on the other side is even more desperate. It's over, it's all about Lan. How's the wine? Listen to me blowing it for you. Aquaman and Supergiant have entered a barrier-free dialogue stage. You say something to me. It has revealed the thousands of years of history of the ancient Oriental country. However, the Flash's cell next door was always silent. Barry? Aquaman shouted twice, but there was no response from the next door. Aquaman finally noticed something was wrong, jumped up from the ground, and looked out through the gap in the cell. Barry, are you okay? Can you hear me? Aquaman's voice reached the next cell. I saw the Flash Barry Allen standing there blankly. He looked down at his hands with a hint of confusion and excitement in his eyes. Speed Force. Barry moved his fingers. A faint red lightning appeared between his fingers. It's the Speed Force, as the two universes enter the integrate stage. The Speed Force, which originally existed only in the DC universe, now also appears in the Marvel universe. Although still very weak, but at least it gives Barry Allen hope. Maybe I can try to escape from this cell on my own. The Flash raised his head, his eyes full of confidence. A flash of red lightning flashed from his eyes. The next second, Barry started running in this cell, which was less than a few square meters. His speed was very slow at first, but as the running time continued, it became faster and faster, and finally turned into that familiar red lightning. Ha ha ha. Barry smiled happily and stopped suddenly. He set his sights on the vibranium cell in front of him that even Superman had a hard time opening. I need to be faster. It's so fast that it can make its own molecules vibrate at a frequency that can penetrate this cell. Barry caught his breath. This is an almost impossible task for him who currently has incomplete speed power. But he must finish, because it's not just for himself. It's for Superman and the entire DC universe. Barry, you have to run. Run, Barry, run, Barry, run. Barry steeled himself. His gaze became extremely determined. There is a saying among DC fans, Superman in good times, Batman in bad times, the Flash in bad times. And now, Barry will use facts to prove that this belief is true. Run. Barry ran again in this narrow cell. His speed reached its peak in an instant. If the power of speed that supports my running is not enough, then I have another thing to burn. That's me. In high-speed movement, Barry gradually reaches the speed he needs. His body gradually became like a mosaic, becoming blurry, become flickering. After adjusting the molecular frequency of his body, Barry slowly stretched out his hand towards the vibranium cell. Lightning. It can't be shut down. New York. Joker, who possesses the Power Stone, has reached the peak moment of his life. With the blessing of this otherworld's cosmic artifact, Joker finally has the crazy strength to match his crazy ideas. Ha 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 ha. Laughing wildly, Joker raised his gloves and fired energy at Tony and others. Face the power of the Power Stone. No one dared to be careless. Tony assumed a defensive posture, and his left arm armor released a translucent energy shield. This is the product of Tony using his smart brain to upgrade Wakanda technology. Stronger than Wakanda's individual energy shield, harder. But in front of the Power Stone, boom. The energy shield shattered instantly. The energy of the gem continued to bombard Tony unabated. He was sent flying hundreds of meters with his body and armor, and finally he crashed through a building before coming to a stop. Ahem. Fortunately, I always use the best, but Tony got up quickly after being knocked down. Being a thief, he had already mixed a suitable proportion of vibranium into his armor. Strange. What did the Justice League eat next door? You can actually let Little Cho get infinite gems. When Tony got up from the ground, he didn't forget to complain about the DC people next door. The Power Stone, which none of the 7 Captain America and the others had obtained in the past, was finally obtained by a small villain without super ability. It was simply outrageous. I guess Bruce Wayne is too embarrassed to eat it this time, right? Tony said that and continued to join the fight. At the same time, the DCEU universe next door. Tony's long-cherished rival, Batman, was not too ashamed to eat. Because compared to the power gem being stolen, he now has a bigger trouble. The Earth is about to end. Atlantis, from the DC universe, without Aquaman stationed there was easily breached by Steppenwolf. Got the first mother box. Next. The Amazon female warrior also lost to the Nemesis team led by the kind grandmother. Was counterattacked to Paradise Island. The second mother box also fell into the hands of Steppenwolf. The last remaining mother box is protected by the heroes and hidden in Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Heroes and villains who suffered serious casualties also gathered here. The haze of defeat. Shrouded in the interior of the Fortress of Solitude. Wonder Woman Diana sat on the ground, silent and with cold eyes. Her mother, Queen of the Amazons, Hippolyta. In order to protect the mother box of Paradise Island, 1 versus 6. He fought to the death with 6 goddesses of vengeance, and his whereabouts were ultimately unknown. Others were also dead and wounded. Even the once vicious villains have come to the Fortress of Solitude. The villain King Shark's left arm was severely injured, and Green Arrow was stitching up his wound. Such a weird picture. It seems normal now. In the face of this super crisis of Earth destruction, the heroes and villains put aside their hatred for each other. For the first time, we are on the same side. I have a plan. At the moment, the not yet bald Lex Luthor stood up. He proposed to use the Kryptonian technology in the Fortress of Solitude to transform the body of General Zod who was killed by Superman. According to his original words, since there is no Superman, we will create a Superman. I call this plan the Doomsday Plan. Lex Luthor's plan was unanimously approved by the villains. Even many people in the hero camp think this plan is worth a try. But Batman sees things differently. After a protracted war and a defeat, Batman relied on his coquettish moves on the battlefield to escape unscathed. Why, you ask? Because. You will pick it up later. Then do you have a better idea, little bat? Batman's old rival Bane stood up and asked. Without Superman, they are no match for the Apocalypse Army. To know. This isn't invasion with only one Steppenwolf in the movie. Instead, many of Darkseid's men gathered together for a large-scale operation. I do have an idea. Batman slowly stood up and looked at everyone. He took a deep breath and said as if he had exhausted all his strength. I'm planning to ask the Marvel Universe for help. What? Are you crazy? Hear Batman's words. All heroes and villains stood up. Even members of the Justice League, who have always supported Batman, have raised questions. Sorry, Bat, I don't agree with you this time. We just had a fight with them and almost killed 6 people in their world. And they captured our world's Aquaman in the Flash. Even Superman. Speaking of Superman. Everyone fell silent. Even the villains don't want to believe Superman's death. After all, he is a god on Earth. Even Superman's future nemesis, Lex Luthor. He now also sincerely hopes that Superman is safe and sound. I know you have a lot of concerns, and so do I. But now we have no choice. The only bargaining chip we had, the gem, was also stolen. Batman looked at everyone and slowly expressed his thoughts. Now that we have lost the qualification to destroy each other with Marvel, then this means we have minimized the threat to them. In this case, maybe the other party is willing to give us a chance for peaceful communication. The chain of suspicion is based on the premise that both parties can destroy each other. Because both sides have big weapons in their hands, mutual suspicion will fall into an infinite loop. Both parties can never establish sincere and effective communication because neither party will trust the other. Regardless of whether what you say is true or false, sincere or not, the other party will doubt whether you are engaging in tactical deception. Only one situation can upset this balance. That's when one party has the absolute power to crush the other. Until then, only then will opportunities for peaceful negotiations arise. Definitely, it may also be destroying you. What does it have to do with you? What if the people in the Marvel Universe don't even listen to what you say and insist on destroying us? Don't forget, they are the party with the advantage now. Lex Luthor questioned, because it would be him. If he is the absolutely dominant party, then he won't listen to the weak side at all. If he destroys you, what can he write about you? The strong one who has the advantage should trample on the weak. Those in power should trample on the people. Capitalists should expropriate workers. This is the truth in Lex Luthor's heart, but Batman silenced Lex Luthor with just one sentence. Do we have any other options? What's more? Batman paused. Put the Avengers v 1-inch comic that he had read countless times on the table. Besides, they are superheroes like us. As soon as this statement came out, there was silence in the Fortress of Solitude. After Batman finished speaking, he glanced at Lex Luthor. He said nothing, but his eyes seemed to say everything. Maybe in your opinion, the strong should bully the weak. But that's exactly why you, Lex Luthor, can never be a hero. Lex Luthor fell silent. In fact, when the situation is favorable to them, who doesn't want more good people in this world? At the end of the world anyway, if I were the one locked out of the shelter, then I definitely hope that a kind and selfless Holy Mother will appear in the shelter and open the door to let me in. And now, Lex Luthor is the one who is locked out. Honestly speaking, at the moment, he hopes more than anyone else that it would be better to have more heroes in this world. Then who's going to negotiate? Although everyone no longer questions Batman's proposal. But there is a new question about the candidates for negotiation. I definitely can't. Black Adam was the first to shake his head. His few punches almost killed Captain America and others. If he went to the Marvel Universe next door, he probably wouldn't even have a chance to talk and would have to fight the Avengers. Others also fell silent. Dare not make a sound. Because everyone knows that this task involves huge amounts of risk and uncertainty. No one can guarantee that the negotiation will be successful. There is no guarantee that we will come back alive. The plan I proposed is definitely for me to go. Batman said without hesitation, I am coming too. Wonder Woman, who had been silent all this time, also stood up. As long as she can find reinforcements and avenge her mother in Paradise Island, Diana is willing to pay any price. I won't go. The last mother box must be guarded. Dr. Fate had originally planned to step forward. But there must be someone strong enough to stay and guard the Fortress of Solitude. The third mother box must not fall into the hands of Steppenwolf under any circumstances, otherwise the end will come. Then it's settled. Diana and I are going to the Marvel Universe, and I'll leave it up to you. Before leaving, Batman's eyes scanned every face present. In the face of the Earth's crisis, everyone who can stand up is a good person, no matter the hero or the villain. But there is still one exception, Joker. The moment you enter the portal, for the first time, Batman felt murderous intent in his heart. He has given Joker countless opportunities, but it turns out, a Joker will always be a Joker. His madness and evil are unreasonable and absolute, as if they grow from his bones. No matter what happens in this world, even if the end comes, Joker will still be Joker. He will never be on the side of justice, because he is a Joker. Batman entered the portal with murderous intent. But his vow not to kill was finally kept, because the Avengers next door don't have any no-kill principle. When the Joker came to the Marvel Universe and killed the first person, his ending has already been written, not long ago. Tony returned to the battlefield again. Ares, Hercules, and Hulk, the three top combat powers of the Avengers Alliance, all join the battle. Joker, who only has one infinite gems, can't kill any of the three of them instantly. And Hawkeye, Daredevil, Iron Fist and others are waiting around for opportunities. Hawkeye even gets cold feet and shoots an arrow from time to time. Tricky angle. Every arrow is aimed at Joker's vitals. Oh, why are you all so hostile to me? Can't we just chat, ha ha ha. Joker laughed wildly and punched the Hulk away. But the next second, Hawkeye's explosive arrow landed on his left shoulder. Boom. With a loud noise, Shaoshan was knocked to the ground. The left shoulder was instantly bloody and bloody. Pay for your killings. Ares took the opportunity to jump up and slashed at Joker with the battle axe in his hand from top to bottom. I kill for pleasure. Joker raised his gloved right hand and released a purple energy zone from the power crystal gem. Knocked Ares out of midair, but the next second, Tony Stark returns to the battlefield. An enhanced version of the palm cannon knocked Joker away again. It seems that someone can only talk, but not fight. Tony was right. With the blessing of the Power Stone, Joker has indeed gained unprecedented power. But his fighting skills did not increase accordingly. Ha 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 ha. The bloody Joker got up from the ground. But as if he couldn't feel the pain, he laughed crazily. Let's play a game, haha. Joker laughed wildly and raised his arm again. At first, Tony thought Joker was going to attack him and prepared to dodge. But unexpectedly, Joker launched a backhand attack at the evacuating crowd in the distance. Boom. The power of the Power Stone bursts out. A skyscraper collapsed under Joker's attack, and the debris hit the people below. The name of this game is, how are you going to save so many people? That's fun, right? Ha ha ha. Factory, the Avengers in the Marvel world do not have an oath not to kill. But they have an obligation to protect people. When Joker's attack target fell on the innocent people around him who had not had time to evacuate. The Avengers are angry. Hercules jumped up and used his strength to hold up the collapsed building. Let's go, until the last person evacuated. Only then did Hercules let go of his hand and let the building fall on him. And Ares flew forward, without hesitation. He used his own flesh and blood to block Joker's attack on the people in the distance. The energy of the power gem directly knocked Ares away, and his burly body was covered in blood and flesh. Ha ha. Joker smiled crazily, as if he had found new fun. He ignored his own injuries. Dragging his lingering body, he launched attacks around him indiscriminately. That crazy look made everyone tremble. Is this the DC villain? Tony Stark had just flown in to save a child who was nearly killed by Joker. Looking back again, I looked at the maniac laughing maniacally. Tony's eyes turned cold. Jarvis, start Project Ragnarok. Boom. As soon as these words came out, thunder flashed in the sky. Then a familiar bright light flew from a distance and hit Shaoshan at an extremely fast speed. Even if Joker raised the gauntlet with the power gem in time, it couldn't change his fate of being thrown away with a hammer. The body that was already struggling to survive was severely damaged again. Dislocated internal organs, broken legs. Why so serious? Ha ha ha. But Joker still laughed wildly, and his attacks never stopped. I hope my death will be more valuable than my life, Joker said. Boom. But there was another thunderstorm. The object that had just knocked Joker away suddenly flew into the sky. That's a magic hammer. In midair, a figure with blonde winged helmet and scaled cape caught the hammer. Looking down at Joker proudly, is it Thor? He's finished dealing with his father? Hawkeye stopped moving and looked into the air in confusion. No, that's not Thor. Hercules emerged from the ruins and shook the rubble on his body. He knew Thor's aura better than anyone else. This is a cheap knockoff. Ragnarok, Thor's clone. I know what you want to say, but this is not the time to discuss ethics and morality. Tony Stark looked gloomy. Issued combat orders to the clone Thor in the sky. Kill him. The words just fell. Clone Thor immediately flew down. The Mjolnir in his hand is the same as Mjolnir except that it does not have Odin's divine blessing. Even the material is exactly the same, Uru metal. In Thor, Loki once controlled Odin's destroyer armor and tried to kill Thor who had just arrived on Earth. Finally Thor awakened his divine power and destroyed the destroyer armor. After several turnovers, the wreckage of the destroyer ended up in Tony's hands. Part of it became the new Mjolnir, Thunder. The clone Thor swooped down and roared angrily. The Mjolnir in his hand could also pull the thunder. A thunderbolt of lightning fell from the sky. Hit the Joker. But Joker seemed to be unable to see the cloned Thor. He lowered his head and seemed to be picking at something. Ha ha ha. Let's try this. Sudden. Joker laughed wildly and removed the power gem from his glove. He ditched the gloves. He held this gem with destructive energy in his bare hands. Boom. Lost the restraints of the glove. The power of the power gem can finally be released unscrupulously. Joker became the first victim. This was simply not a power that an ordinary person could hold. But Joker doesn't care about death, he just feels like this. A lot of fun. Maybe you can save the planet next time. But the premise is, there must be a next time. Ha ha ha. Joker laughed wildly and slapped the power gem on the ground. This moment, infinite power bursts out from the surface of the earth. The cloned Thor was thrown away by this force just as soon as he got close. It was mentioned in Guardians of Galaxy 1. Once the power of the Power Stone is fully released, it can easily destroy a planet. And now, Joker has completed his crazy plan. Destroy this boring world of order. Well, suddenly a sigh came. Joker, who was ready to let the whole world bury him, immediately opened his eyes. He discovered that he was not destroyed by the power of the Power Stone. Exactly. It's the energy of the Power Stone that's been frozen. It was as if time had stopped all around, and the burst of purple energy was frozen in the air. This. Joker stammered and looked around. A person walked towards him. It was Chu Shu, who had just returned from CC Universe. The time in the two universes is not exactly equal. To be precise, it takes a little time to travel through. As Ancient One said, time travel has never been a simple matter. This isn't fun at all. Joker held it in for a long time. In the end, this was all he said. Yeah? Chu Shu walked up to Joker and squatted down. Picked up the power stone from Joker's hand that had turned to ashes. As the last gem falls into the hand, collect all 6 infinite gems. Boom. A great power that is difficult to express in words poured into Chu Shu's body. That is the power from the beginning of creation. It's the afterglow left over from the debris of the Big Bang. The energy of 6 colors flows along Chu Shu's body surface. Every meridian in his body glows with colored light. Joker was stunned. Having briefly owned a power gem, he knew what it meant better than anyone else. You don't think this is fun, and I don't think this is fun, so do you want to have something fun? Chu Shu recovered from the energy impact of the 6 gems. Looking down at Joker, eyes calm, think. Hearing Joker's answer, Chu Shu was not surprised. He waved his hand. The frozen time continues to flow. The purple energy that was enough to destroy the earth disappeared with Chu Shu's thought. What just happened? Chu Shu? When did you come back? For Tony and the others, time has never stopped. Chu Shu seemed to appear in an instant, defeating Joker in an instant and saving the world in an instant. Joker. Chu Shu did not reply to questions from Tony and others. Instead, he set his sights on Joker. You will become an upright, lawful, kind and selfless person again and again in the eternal reincarnation. Provided that you still remember how much you hated this. Chu Shu just finished speaking. Infinite power is as easy as speaking. A pocket universe dedicated to Joker is generated. Just like The Truman Show, except this is a world exclusive to Joker. No. It's not fun. It's not fun. No. Joker felt scared for the first time. There is no need to experience it at all. Just the literal description makes Joker feel chilled to the bone. He couldn't even imagine what torture that would be. But it's not up to him. It might be fun. Chu Shu thought and pushed Xiaoshan in. Then the entrance to this pocket universe was completely sealed, and you will not be able to leave for eternity. Make an inherently evil supervillain a good guy. The point also made him remember how much he hated justice in the first place. Hearing Chu Shu's arrangements for Joker, everyone in the Avengers Alliance couldn't help but feel a chill in their hearts. Everyone thought about it. If you put yourself in their shoes, you turn them into a supervillain who does all kinds of evil. But they're still the same superhero at heart. I still remember what justice is in my heart. In this situation where you know what is right and wrong. Knowing that he hates doing evil, he committed murder and set fire. Do no evil. Even enjoy the pleasure of doing evil. How much torture will this cause to the self, deep in a person's soul? Far more terrible than death. It's like throwing me into a crowd of women and then taking away my interest in women. My dear, this is too much torture. Tony Stark's brain circuit is obviously different from other people's. Even the way he used metaphors made everyone's eyes darken. As expected of you, Tony Stark. Good brother, tell me, what does it feel like to collect all Infinity Stones? Tony Stark hurriedly approached Chu Shu. Looking at Chu Shu's vaguely infinite power, his eyes were full of envy. It's like seeing a playmate of the same age buy a new toy when you were a kid. The look in your eyes when you really want to borrow it for fun, but are too embarrassed to open your mouth. Feel. It's like gaining the management rights of Earth Online. After Chu Shu finished speaking, he showed it to Tony. Snap. A snap of the fingers. The surrounding collapsed buildings and destroyed blocks were restored to their original state in an instant. Even people who were originally dead suddenly came to life. All the scars on the body have disappeared. Wait a minute, am I dead? Yeah, I'm almost at limbo. Ah? Why did I go to the fiery hell? Haha, you losers, I went to the succubus hell, and there was a succubus lady who was trying to guide me just now. What a pity, why did you survive? Oh, who says it's not the case? I'm also going to ask my idol, Nastier, for an autograph. Listen to the discussions of the people who came back from the dead. Everyone in Avengers Alliance has a black line. Even Chu Shu couldn't hold himself any longer. It can only be said that these New Yorkers are really used to big winds and waves. Even death felt normal. Harm, isn't it just death? Who has never died? Definitely, not everyone is so open-minded. There are also some people who are extremely surprised by their resurrection. Oh my god. My legs that have been cold for more than 10 years are healed. A middle-aged man who had come back from the dead exclaimed. This power not only resurrected him, but also cured his cold legs that had been cold for more than 10 years. Oh, I'm sorry, I neglected this. Chu Shu heard what the middle-aged uncle said. With a thought in his mind, he helped him add the buff to Lao Han's legs. It has been more than 10 years, and I must have feelings. We can't just take them away so cruelly. Ooh. It's all my fault. If you have to have a mean mouth, why are you talking about old cold legs? Feeling the old cold legs coming back again, the uncle howled incessantly. Did you see it? Yin Zhuang was so moved that she cried. Chu Shu is extremely pleased with his act of doing one good deed every day. Tony nodded silently. It's not because he approves of Chu Shu's approach. It's because he's afraid that Chu Shu will use the torture he used on Joker on him. Great, the dead are all resurrected. Hercules, a strong man of steel, was so excited that he almost cried when he saw the scene in front of him. Tony remembered something and suddenly put away the smile on his face. The infinite gems have been collected. Then should our next step be? Tony opened his mouth. His throat felt dry, and the words weighed on his heart like a boulder. For a moment, he even wanted to take the infinite gems away from Chu Shu. For destroying a universe, kill countless lives. This huge amount of sin and cause and effect is enough to overwhelm anyone. Tony wanted to take this sin on himself, he said. Then should our next step be to destroy the DC universe? As soon as these words came out, in the distance, the two people who had just arrived in the Marvel universe had their pupils shake instantly. Batman and Wonder Woman walked through the portal. As soon as I arrived in the Marvel universe, I heard what Tony said. The two people's eyes instantly shook. He froze on the spot as if he was dumbfounded. Who? Hawkeye senses the arrival of Batman and Wonder Woman. Draw your bow and knock an arrow immediately. Others also turned to look at the DC duo. Seeing Wonder Woman again, Hercules and Ares didn't forget to say hello. Isn't this our cheap sister? Why are you here again? Ares said hello and held the battle axe in his hand. Forehead. Tony Stark looked at the two people coming from the DC universe. Suddenly he realized that what he just said might have been heard by them. Even if he is as thick-skinned as him, I can't help but feel a little embarrassed now. Well, did you hear anything just now? Tony Stark had embarrassment written all over his face. Because he noticed that Batman and Wonder Woman didn't take out their weapons. That is to say, the other party didn't come here to fight. I heard it all. Batman has a dark look on his face. Okay. I still want to come over and negotiate to see if I can save a chance of survival. As a result, you have already started to destroy you, so what does it have to do with you, right? No, I don't understand. Are you Marvel superheroes anymore? Ahem, it makes me a little bit. Tony couldn't stand it anymore. Turning to Chu Shu, he whispered, good brother, if it doesn't work, let's do it. I really can't stand the embarrassment anymore. Chu Shu was dumbfounded by this scene. The setting of two universes colliding with each other and perishing together was originally made up by him. The purpose is to have the Avengers fight the Justice League. Unexpectedly, the fight between the two sides became more and more fierce. They all took it seriously. Ahem. Thinking of this, Chu Shouqing coughed. He said righteously, I disagree with your plan of destruction, Tony Stark. Isn't the life of the DC Universe life? I have infinite gems. Besides destroying, I can do more meaningful things. I can push two universes apart with the power of infinite gems. This way both of us can survive and no one has to die. Chu Shu said it righteously. The Avengers Alliance members present nodded repeatedly. Yeah. This is a heroic act. On the side, Batman and Wonder Woman, who had already given up hope, regained their hope after hearing these words. Tony was the only one in the audience who was stunned. I am the only bad person who co-wrote it. The Flash escapes from Atalan prison. He came out alone. DC Aquaman is still imprisoned in the vibranium cell and continues to go crazy with the supergiant next door. It's not that the Flash doesn't want to save him. But because it can't be saved, this is just a little bit of the Speed Force in the Marvel Universe. It would be difficult for Barry to penetrate the vibranium cell by himself, let alone save others. And he couldn't bring anyone through the wall with him. He has more important things to do now. I have to find Superman. After escaping, Barry found a set of space protective gear in Atalan. The name on the protective gear is Quicksilver. That's right. This was when Corvus Glaive invaded. Tony's customized space battlesuit for Quicksilver. In addition to meeting the basic protective function, this battlesuit also allows the speedster to display his ability in space. Haha, it's mine now. Barry took this battlesuit as his own without hesitation. After putting it on, he ran directly out of the moon. After entering a weightless environment, every time Barry takes a step, a reactionary energy shield will be generated under the battlesuit's feet. Like a solid ground for Barry to stand on. There is a saying in space, if you want to reach your destination, you must leave something behind. And this speedster battlesuit designed by Tony. Just throw away the energy shields that are quickly generated and disappear quickly. It's said to be a shield, actually more like a pedal. Barry stepped on it, and while generating propulsion, the shield would shatter under the load. Oh my god. Why doesn't anyone in my world design a battlesuit like this for me? Barry was applauded for this exquisite design. But he did not forget his mission. After running around in space for a while, I got used to the rhythm of this battlesuit. Barry's eyes fell on the Avengers' temporary space base, the Skyward Sword Bureau base. His first priority is to figure out where Superman was transported to. Just wait. Xiao Shen is here to save you. The other side. Just as the Flash puts on the battlesuit that Tony prepared for Quicksilver. Tony Stark, who is negotiating with DC Batman. Suddenly I noticed something. Silver-haired boy, you're still being tough. Now you know how smart I am, Tony Stark, right? Tony smiled slightly, thinking that Quicksilver was wearing a battlesuit. He forgot about political matters. Keep talking to Batman. However, inside the T-Engine Bureau base, the real Quicksilver experienced the ambush in the DC universe. I was simmering with anger in my heart. At the moment, he was inside the T-Engine Bureau base, monitoring the data on the screen. I don't know if Rhodes can survive. Quicksilver looked at the picture on the surveillance screen. But in my heart, I have been feeling guilty for the huge defeat of the DC universe. He took all the responsibility on himself, because in his opinion, just be careful yourself. Or, stop being so tough and at least use a little Tony Stark stuff. As long as Martian Manhunter's hypnotic ability is prevented at the beginning, many things may not happen again. Damn DC bastard. Quicksilver cursed and turned around to pick up the pizza next to him. And the moment he turned his head, a red lightning suddenly flashed on one of the screens. When Quicksilver takes a closer look, the red lightning had disappeared and never appeared again. Not this one, this is not. No, where is the Avengers information? At the same time, the Flash has successfully entered the T-Engine Bureau base. A magical ability that relies on the Speed Force to penetrate walls. Barry carefully avoided surveillance and shield soldiers in the shield base. After all, this space base was originally an asset of S.H.I.E.L.D. The Avengers are only temporarily requisitioned, so it's not surprising that there are S.H.I.E.L.D. soldiers here. After a thrilling dive, Barry successfully arrived at a secret information room. The walls of this data room are several centimeters thick with lead, apparently to protect Superman from X-ray vision. It's here. Barry successfully discovered Tony Stark's plans for Superman. Since the plan has been implemented, this information is more like a post-war summary. Teleported to Limbo. A multi-million-ton nuclear bomb. Oh my god. Looking at the contents of this document called God-Killing Plan, Barry was shocked. A terrible thought came to mind. Superman is not really dead, is he? It's normal to feel scary. That guy used to be a notorious arms dealer. Just when Barry was worried about Superman's safety, Quicksilver's voice suddenly appeared behind him. Oh my god. You scared me. The Flash was completely unaware of Quicksilver's arrival and was taken aback. Looks like you've got your ability back. Very good. In that case, I won't be considered defeated. Quicksilver, who had been holding back his anger, regained his ability when he saw the Flash. On the contrary, I felt happy. Finally. You can have a good fight. Sorry, it's still far away. The Flash did it again. One means, I have only recovered a small part of my ability, and I am still far from the peak. The second point is, Quicksilver is still far from defeating itself. Ah, Quicksilver clearly understood the Flash's pun. Sneered. Then give it a try, no problem. The Flash agreed simply. But he turned around, picked up the information, used the Speed Force to pass through walls, and ran away without looking back. And he didn't just pass through a wall. Instead, he directly used the Speed Force to penetrate the shell of the T-Engine Bureau base and enter the space environment. After coming out, Barry looked back at the T-Engine Bureau base. Through the porthole, I met Quicksilver in the base. Sorry, I still have to save Superman, so I don't have a job for you to compete with. The Flash waved his hand and ran towards the Earth without looking back. Red lightning drew a bright line in space. Soon it landed somewhere on the Earth. Should be thrown away. I wore his space battlesuit, and he must have been freaking out. The Flash breathed a sigh of relief as he returned to Earth. Then he turned around. Pupil earthquake. Why, you didn't expect this? Quicksilver said his classic line while eating pizza. No? You don't have a space battle suit, how did you? As the Flash spoke, his eyes were attracted to the pizza in Quicksilver's hand. This pizza looks so delicious, space battlesuit? Quicksilver glanced at Barry's battlesuit, smiled slightly. Who told you that I came running here? What age is this? Are you still a traditional speedster? Quicksilver waved his hand, and a portal appeared in front of the two of them. Watching Barry's pupils quake again. I play magic, brother. Today, the Avengers Alliance headquarters in the Marvel Universe. DC Universe representative, Batman and Marvel Universe representative, Iron Man had a friendly meeting. The two sides had cordial and friendly communication for several minutes. At the meeting, representatives from both sides reached a consensus on the issue of evil forces in the DC Universe. Marvel representative Iron Man said, "It is our duty to promote heroism, aiming at the rampant evil force in the DC Universe Darkseid camp. We will provide strong support from human resources. To deal with the extremists led by Steppenwolf, Marvel will send out its elite backbone. Give it a severe crackdown. Eradicate it resolutely. Ahem. Summarize it in one sentence." Tony agreed to Batman's request for help. Gone. Now that there are better ways to solve the collision crisis, there is no need for us to be hostile to each other. To be honest, you are quite famous in our world. Especially you, Bruce. The name of Batman, the #1 player in the server, is well known to everyone here. After the negotiation, Tony Stark's tense nerves finally relaxed. He even thought about making a joke. You know, before, he was worried about things like collision crises day and night. Or destroy a universe. Or your own universe will be destroyed. No matter which one represents unimaginable suffering and torture. And now, finally, we have a strategy that offers the best of both worlds. Tony Stark also had a long-lost smile on his face. What does Batman, the #1 in the server, mean? Batman, who doesn't know enough about the Marvel Universe, obviously didn't understand Tony's joke. The #1 Batman in the server? Is it possible that there are other versions of Batman? Asian server Batman? European Batman? Haha, it's a long story. Tony Stark didn't explain much. With a smile on his face, he turned to look at the real, #1 Batman in the server. Then, the smile froze instantly. I said, why is Batman the only representative of the DC Universe? It turns out that Wonder Woman was pulled aside by you to whisper. Hate, they were all joking. The greatest hero on Earth is just a false name, I don't care. Saving the world is commonplace, there is nothing worth mentioning. Galga. Ah no, Diana, have you heard of Dormammu? Oh, you don't know him, what about Mephisto? No? It's good to know each other. The famous Lord of Hell is actually just like that. My defeated general. Really, don't believe it. If it doesn't work, take out the mantra lasso. Let me show you what sincerity means. Another part of the conference room. Wonder Woman has a smile in her eyes, quietly watching the big boy in front of him pretending to be cool in front of him. The current Diana is not an ignorant girl who just came out of Paradise Island. Since World War E, Diana has been living in human society for hundreds of years. He definitely knew what the big boy in front of him was thinking. But Diana didn't reveal it. On the contrary, she found it all quite interesting. Although the technique of flirting with girls is a little clumsy, at least I dare to flirt with her. Unlike many men, who are obviously thoughtful, but when they meet someone they like, they don't even dare to fart. That kind of cowardly man. For the Amazons who dare to love and hate, they are the most despised kind of people. There's no need for the mantra lasso, I believe every word you say. Diana shook her head with a smile in her eyes. Judging from her expression, she had a very happy chat with Chu Shu. If it weren't for the DC Universe, it would be in jeopardy. Diana was even willing to chat a little longer. However, this scene is for Tony Stark. He almost broke his molars in anger. Why? Aren't you a big fan of Batman? Why did you choose Wonder Woman when the idol came to you? Chu Shu. Because I'm not stupid. Idols are idols, and I can still handle Gal Gadot's weight. Tony? Just when Tony Stark was so angry that he almost broke his back molars. Batman interrupted him loudly. There is another thing about the Flash and Aquaman who were captured by you. Oh, yes, I almost forgot if you didn't tell me. Now that the war has ceased and an agreement has been reached, it is indeed necessary to release the prisoners. Wait a moment, I'll contact you. Tony immediately called Attilan on the far side of the moon. Then, He got an unexpected reply. The first is that Aquaman has a little problem with his mental state. Second, the Flash ran away. Bruce, if you're in a hurry, how about you go back first? Tony smiled awkwardly. At the same time, he quickly asked Jarvis to spread the news. Everyone, find the Flash ASAP. Remember, don't break out into conflict with the other side, we have a truce with DC. At the same time, just when Tony issued an urgent notice, the Flash and Quicksilver are fighting on a small island in the Pacific. The two sides were separated at the first touch. It turned into two flashes of red and blue lightning and ran wildly on the sea. In a few breaths, we arrived at a coastal country in Asia. After a few short battles, they came to Europe, then America, and Africa. The two of them circled the Earth. They are equally matched in terms of speed. Please, can't you let me go? I really don't want to fight you. The Flash said as he ran. This little bit of the Marvel Universe's speed force isn't enough to get him past Quicksilver. And as the running time continued, the Flash felt increasingly hungry. The metabolism of speedsters is many times faster than that of ordinary people. So they are more likely to be hungry than ordinary people. But I want to fight you. Quicksilver, who was filled with anger, was obviously unwilling to let lightning go. But to be fair, he didn't use magic, but simply relied on his extreme speed ability to compete with his opponent. Speaking of which, Quicksilver has some regrets. If I had known better, I would have spent less time learning magic and used it to develop my special abilities. Quicksilver's extreme speed ability has not been developed since Awakening. Because the portal is so convenient, that's it for these two. Fight from the south to the north. The surrounding scene quickly disappeared from behind like a blurry slideshow. Ordinary people can't see clearly the battle between two speedsters. After circling the Earth one more time, the Flash was really hungry and couldn't stand it anymore. Wait a minute, can we eat something first? Near the Great Wall, the Flash stopped. Quicksilver also couldn't bear it anymore. Okay. I'll fight after eating. I know there is a delicious fried noodles near here. Do you want to eat it? Quicksilver asked breathlessly. No, I'm going to Mexico to buy a burrito. Do you want to bring one for you? Okay. Put less spicy. Quicksilver nodded. Then I saw the Flash turning into a red lightning and leaving the Great Wall. Until the other party disappeared for 2 seconds. Quicksilver slapped his thigh. Crack. Cheated. Limbo. This hell that Choo Choo first conquered has now changed drastically. A large number of thermal power stations have been built in areas close to the Demon City state. The originally chaotic lava rivers were redirected and organized, turning into several regular lava rivers. New roads have also been built between the Demon City states. The demons were carrying iron buckets. Pour buckets of lava onto the cultivated land. After waiting for it to cool down naturally, new roads will be formed. If you want to be rich, build roads first. Since Mr. Choo Choo became Satan, our lives have become better and better. Even the corpse stitching demon in the next village has a new life. The corpse stitcher? Is it the terribly ugly corpse stitcher from the next village? Yes, it's him. I'm having a prosperous life in Vinewood now. I heard that he has acted in many horror movies. My dear, when can I participate in a movie? You? Stop dreaming. To be an actor, first of all, you have to look distinctive. Either it's so ugly that it's distinctive, like the corpse-stitching demon, which scares all demons when they see it. Either you have to be like the succubus next door, charming, and earn the money of those Oedicus. Wow, how do you understand? You're kidding. I'm one of the first demons to have been to Earth. Lord Satan even summoned me on Makalu Peak. Look, this is my medal. Wow. Similar conversations appear in many places in Limbo. After establishing a fixed channel with the Earth, large-scale construction began in Limbo. The Hell economy, which was still in the state of 500,000 demon coins per soul, suddenly became prosperous and developed vigorously. Definitely, the vast space of Limbo cannot be developed all at once. Deeper in Hell, there are still many unexplored areas. At this moment, in the uninhabited area in the extreme direction, the manager of Limbo, Nastier, was talking to an obscure human being. What did you say you were? A Kryptonian? Superman? Or someone from the DC universe? Infinite strength? Man of Steel? Can you also emit lasers from your eyes? Yes, yes, yes. Clark nodded repeatedly. He thought the demon in front of him understood what he said. Cut. Nastier smiled contemptuously. He stretched out a finger and pushed Clark gently to the ground. You are the only one who is so powerful. Why didn't you say you can still fly? I can indeed fly. Clark got up from the ground, looking helpless. At first, the moment the nuclear bomb detonated, Clark sensed the danger. But it was too late to dodge. He could only bear it with his steel body. Although he was blown into a ball of coke, he almost died. But thanks to the powerful self-healing recovery of Superman's physique, he finally survived. The only problem is, the hard resistance to the nuclear explosion and the final healing process consumed his last bit of energy. In limbo, where there is no sunlight, Superman Clark became an ordinary person Clark. I really didn't lie to you, Nastier. As long as you can help me return to Earth, and when I get some exposure to the sun and regain my strength, I will be grateful in the future. Superman looked sincere and promised Nastier, I will definitely repay your kindness in the future. Although it's not like Superman to ask for help from a demon from hell. But as long as Clark thinks that if he doesn't go back, the DC universe may be destroyed, he won't care about anything. Let the devil be the devil. As long as you can help me return to Earth, I, Clark, will be very grateful in the future. Are you lying to a fool? However, Nastier didn't believe Clark's words at all. To be precise, when Clark said, I really didn't lie to you, Nastier reflexively understood this as, you are the one I lied to. Do you think I'm still the same Nastier I was before? Nastier said, throwing a book on Superman. Clark picked it up and took a look. It says, Anti-Fraud Encyclopedia, teaching you how to deal with fraud routines. Clark looked confused. Everything I say is true, Nastier, why don't you believe it? Do you think I look like a liar? Clark pointed at his face. As Superman, Clark is not only handsome, but also has a righteous face. At first glance, he looks like a righteous hero. Nastier looked at Superman's face carefully. Then smiled disdainfully. Oh, I have seen someone who looks more upright than you before. He's my immediate boss now. Clark was completely speechless. He really couldn't imagine what kind of person he was. How could he actually train the demons in hell to be so aware of fraud prevention? Well, then can you get me some clothes? Clark sighed and made a final request, but Nastier still firmly refused. No. The book says that scammers will gradually break down your inner guard through some inconspicuous requests. Clark was completely speechless. Just when Clark felt hopeless, a red lightning suddenly appeared in front of him. Hoo-hoo, it's so hot in here. I ran for a long time, and finally found you, Clark. The Flash was sweating profusely, panting, and almost collapsed from exhaustion. The moment he found Superman, he almost lost his balance and fell in front of Superman. Barry. See the Flash. Clark was overjoyed. However, just when he thought he could finally leave this damn hell, Nastier suddenly took action. I didn't expect you had a gang. The fraud team, right? The Flash, who was exhausted, didn't expect this at all. He was immediately grabbed by Nastier. Carry it in your hand like a chicken. Someone is coming. Tie up these two liars. I'm going to take the two of them to Lord Satan to ask for credit. Nastier waved his hand. They found some demons and tied up the Flash and Superman. Haha, what a great achievement. Lord Satan will definitely praise me for my cleverness. Nastier grinned widely, while dreaming about getting the Choo-Choo Award. Holding Superman and the Flash in each hand, they left hell. Then there is no more. At the Avengers Alliance headquarters, Nastier received a lot of confused looks. He also got a fierce look from his immediate boss, Choo-Choo. After giving Nastier a fierce look, Choo-Choo turned around and looked at Wonder Woman with a hint of embarrassment. Then what, if I say that I don't know him, would you believe it? There is definitely no reward. After Nastier received a combination meal, time stop plus fat beating plus healing, he was thrown back to Limbo Prison by Choo-Choo. Because time is frozen, others had no idea what was going on. Clark, we thought Batman was overjoyed to see Superman was fine. This means that the DC universe has another powerful hero. Etc., etc. Let me bask in the sun first and take a nap. Clark stood in the bright sun while basking in the sun, while trying to understand what happened during this time. So, we have made peace. Not only that, but they also want to help us deal with Darkseid's army? Clark wondered if he had entered a parallel world. He turned to look at Tony Stark. There was an indescribable and unclear meaning in his eyes. Call it angry, now we are teammates in the same camp. Say you're not angry, this guy almost blew himself up with a nuclear bomb. Hello, Clark, have you eaten? Tony started to dig his toes on the ground in embarrassment. Finished. He lowered his head. He glanced at Choo-Choo secretly. Man, if you have a way to save both universes, couldn't you have told me earlier? Do you have to wait until both sides have finished fighting? Are you trying to embarrass me on purpose? Choo-Choo noticed Tony's gaze, but pretended not to see it. He still has that righteous and awe-inspiring look. I'm sorry, Clark, I'm deeply sorry for what happened to you. Stark should have realized his mistake. Chushu looked righteous, trying to restore his glorious image in Diana's mind. Tony Stark had a question mark on his face. Brother. You damn green tea. After working on it for a long time, Joker is actually me. Okay, it's over now, Stark, you don't have to blame yourself too much. And I heard that our people also injured your people. Superman is truly the epitome of a decent hero. Quick to forgive Tony Stark for nearly blowing himself up. Tony couldn't stand it anymore, but he still smiled politely. Thank you for understanding me, Clark. Finished. Tony moved closer to Chushu. In order to retaliate against Chushu's deceptive behavior, Tony lowered his voice and said something viciously. As one of the people who knows Chushu best, Tony knew very well what words could really hurt Chushu. I won't play the game you want to play. Boom. As soon as these words came out, it was like a bolt from the blue. Chushu's eyes widened instantly. You sure? 6 infinite gems wrapped in a black death sword slowly appeared in Chushu's hand. I will try to get you a trial demo within 2 months. 1 month. Can. Although Chushu and Tony talked quietly. But for top beings like Superman and Wonder Woman present, they still know it clearly. After hearing this, the crazy heroine just smiled slightly, feeling that this big boy still had a childlike innocence and was quite sincere. But Superman glanced at Chushu suspiciously. Is this the man who turned nastier into a vanguard in the fight against fraud? It looks like. Pretty decent. Okay everyone, we don't have any time to waste. Batman deliberately waited for Superman to get some sun. Then. He couldn't wait to say, every second we spend here, the more suffering our world suffers. Avengers, we need your help. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the Avengers Alliance suddenly felt a surge of justice in their hearts. Even Captain America, who was seriously injured and lying on the hospital bed, walked out on crutches. Guys, can I shout that slogan now? As expected, what Captain America is thinking about most is the slogan. Definitely. Everyone nodded unanimously. And promised never to laugh at Captain America again. After Captain America heard this, he was so excited that he couldn't even use the crutches and threw the crutches to the side. Shout loudly. Avengers, assemble. Ha ha ha. Such a corny slogan. Steve. Why are you so naive? You don't really think that everyone won't laugh at you, haha. Let's go. Let's go to DC Universe. I really can't stand laughing anymore. Me too. The appearance of Captain America brings a touch of joy to the tense atmosphere before the expedition. While everyone laughed at Captain America, they stepped into the cosmic channel opened by Chushu without any hesitation. But the moment he stepped into the portal, everyone unanimously put away their smiles. Avengers, assemble, they said in their hearts. DCEU Universe. The flames of war burned everywhere on the earth. Heroes, villains, armies, and even civilians take part in this war. But their efforts failed in front of Darkseid's army. The demon-like army led by Steppenwolf has destroyed countless civilizations. The earth is to them. It's just one of those countless journeys, an insignificant one. Bane is dead. Haven't Batman and the others come back yet? Damn Bat. On the Arctic ice sheet, Deadshot is carrying a machine gun that fires energy bombs. Gunshot to the head. Shoot down the demonoids that try to get close to the Fortress of Solitude. This gun is a Kryptonian weapon created by Lex Luthor based on the technology on the Fortress of Solitude, the Kryptonian spaceship. Great power, coupled with Deadshot's ability to hit the target accurately. Success played a huge role. Don't you want to see my true identity? Then let you meet me. What a devil, in Suicide Squad. Chato Santana, the revenge demon who can control fire, roared and revealed his true form. His size increased dramatically. From a mortal body, he turned into a 3-meter-tall Balrog. Die. The revenge demon who sacrificed his true body pushed forward with both hands. Terrifying flames burst out from the palm of his hand, directly covering half of the sky. The terrible temperatures even melted the glaciers beneath our feet. But it still can't stop the constant army of demons, coming from all directions. Soon. The revenge demon was attacked by the demonoid behind him. The demonoid flying in the air hit it with a spear that could fire energy bombs. Chato, the Death Shooter, who is also a member of the Suicide Squad, saw the revenge demon being attacked. Immediately turned the gun and prepare for support. But as soon as he moved the muzzle away, the demon-like army on his side swarmed in. Die. 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 Deadshot pulled the trigger like crazy. Until the energy of the Kryptonian crystal used as a source of energy in this gun is exhausted. It also failed to stop the swarming army of demonoids. No, we can't wait any longer. Batman and the others can't come back. In the face of this kind of cosmic collision crisis, there is no such thing as a hero. Marvel is watching our destruction, and it's not too late to be happy. It won't help us at all. Recognize the reality. Inside the Fortress of Solitude, Lex Luthor slammed the table. Yelled at Dr. Fate. The Doomsday Plan must be launched now. Immediately. I've seen the future, Lex Luthor. The day of destruction will only bring us greater disasters. This plan cannot help us. Inside the Fortress of Solitude, Dr. Fate once again vetoes the Doomsday Plan. But Lex Luthor obviously doesn't agree with Dr. Fate's statement. Exactly. He has already started implementing this plan. General Zod's body is currently lying in the Fortress of Solitude, just waiting for the final Kryptonian biological program to start. You said you could see the future. Then tell me, can you see Batman and the others come back? Can you see them finding reinforcements, or can you see us defeat Steppenwolf? Lex Luthor yelled angrily at Dr. Fate. Finished shouting. He was in front of Dr. Fate. Picked up the last mother box on Earth. Lex Luthor plans to use the mother box as an energy source to transform General Zod's body into Doomsday. Luthor, put down. Dr. Destiny didn't finish his words. However, his body trembled violently as if he was under attack. Then blood started to flow from his shoulder. At the same time, the real Dr. Fate. In the sky above the Fortress of Solitude, I was facing countless demon-like houses alone. From time to time, there are several Furies, waiting for the opportunity to launch sneak attacks from various tricky angles. And just now, Dr. Fate's shoulder wound. It was a nemesis named Harriet who succeeded in a sneak attack. Luthor, put down the mother box, we have to trust Batman. Dr. Fate unleashes the power of the Naboo god while facing various enemies. Also have to do two things. Manipulating duplication, trying to persuade Lex Luthor. I only believe in myself. But Lex Luthor's mind was made up. With the mother box he placed it in the biomodification room of the Kryptonian spacecraft. The body of General Zod soaked in culture fluid. It immediately levitated. Zitza, the energy released by the mother box. In the form of lightning, it kept hitting the body of General Zooda. The next second, the corpse suddenly opened its eyes. Roar. But what it issued was a beast-like roar. General Zod's body expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. His body grew, his muscles became stronger, and bone spurs appeared on his shoulders. His face became more and more hideous and terrifying. There is no longer any trace of humanity. At the moment, General Zod has completely transformed into Krypton's ultimate biological weapon, Doomsday. Roar. A roar, like a hurricane, set off terrible waves. It spread from the Fortress of Solitude. What's that sound? Black Adam, who was fighting Kalibak, suddenly turned around. He sensed the terrifying aura within the Fortress of Solitude. You dare to be distracted while fighting with me. Darkseid's foolish son Kalibak roared angrily. One punch knocked Black Adam away. Boom. Black Adam hit an iceberg like a cannonball. The entire glacier collapsed instantly. Hundreds of tons of ice crashed into the sea, causing large waves. And in another part of the battlefield, Martian Manhunter uses telepathy ability to constantly interfere with the demon-like army. From time to time, control some enemies and make them kill each other. But this operation did not last several times. Martian Manhunter was targeted, another last survivor of genocide. Steppenwolf takes action himself. Holding the battle axe, he jumped into the air. The huge body directly knocked Martian Manhunter out of the air. Martian Manhunter just wanted to use telepathy to counter Steppenwolf. But he was hit in the arm by the opponent with an axe. Aha! Martian Manhunter has physical strength that can be said to be half Superman. His arm was actually cut off by Steppenwolf with an axe. You're just like that Kryptonian orphan, he should have died long ago. Steppenwolf stepped on Martian Manhunter, then lifted the tomahawk. It's about to be chopped down. Roar. Don't bully Shark's friends. Suddenly there was a roar in the distance. King Shark in Suicide Squad roared and rushed over. Its size is similar to that of the Steppenwolf, both about 3 meters tall. But the strength of the two is very different. A shark with the blood of an old god. Seeing who was coming, Steppenwolf kicked Martian Manhunter away. It's not even a demigod. Who gave you the courage to dare to challenge a true god? Steppenwolf roared. Turn around and throw an axe. Fortunately, Zon didn't behead the Shark King who was flying towards him. King Shark was split in the shoulder with an axe. The half-human, half-shark's burly body was torn open with huge amounts of wounds. The bleeding won't stop, and on the other side of the battlefield, The only remaining Amazon female warriors also came to this Arctic ice field from Paradise Island. Guard the last mother box. Stop the Earth from being destroyed. These two sentences are the last cold words of every Amazon female warrior until they die in battle. Amazon. Fight to the death and never retreat. The current commander of the Amazons is Antiope, Wonder Woman Diana's teacher. After Diana's mother, Amazon Queen Hippolyta, disappeared. She temporarily took over combat command. Kill, kill, kill. The Amazons are exactly what they say they are. Fight to the death and never retreat. Their spears are extremely sharp. Their bows and arrows are always on target. The demon-like army has never broken through the area where they are stationed. Until their old enemy, the Nemesis team, arrives. All members are female, also well trained. Both sides are similar in every way, but the physical fitness of the Furies is much stronger than that of the Amazons. One is the new Protoss on Apocalypse, which is almost equivalent to the Asgard Protoss in Marvel. The other is just a human race blessed by the gods, and its physical fitness is at the peak of human beings. There is a huge difference between the two, but the Amazon female warriors were not afraid at all. They gripped their spears. Relying on years of fighting skills, he fought with the goddess of revenge. The commander of the Nemesis team, Grandma Shang, walked out with a person in her hand. Amazonians, come meet your queen. The kind grandmother looks like a harmless old woman. But both her behavior and the smile on her face at this moment were extremely cruel. Plop. The kind grandmother threw Diana's mother, Queen Hippolyta of the Amazons, to the ground. Then he picked up the crutch and brutally broke one of the queen's legs. Trying to force the queen to kneel down. Kneel down and ask your people to lay down their weapons. The kind grandma opened her mouth and showed a ferocious smile. Ah, Queen Hippolyta sneered. Enduring the severe pain, even the broken leg bones were pierced from the surface of the skin, bloody and exposed. She remained silent. Ya, ma, shuin, death, fight, no, retreat. Queen Hippolyta gave her final orders, court death. The kind grandmother raised her crutch angrily. The inside of her crutch contained a sharp blade. He stabbed towards the queen. You dare. Sudden. A shield flew from a distance. With a clang, the crutch of the kind grandmother was blocked. Immediately afterwards, the owner of the shield flew in with the classic BGM. When Batman and his crew traveled back to the DC universe. The Fortress of Solitude is on the verge of collapse. Steppenwolf and his army of demonoids have set their sights on this cold land in the far north of the Earth. To get the last mother box. As the commander of Apocalypse, Steppenwolf sent out all the troops. Demons are overwhelming. The vengeful demon who transformed into a Balrog encountered enemies before and after, and was trapped in a tight siege. Deadshot is out of ammunition and food, close your eyes and wait for death. Cyborg failed to invade the network of the Apocalypse Star battleship, but was controlled by the Apocalypse Star scientist Dicid. Being dismantled on the operating table. Sharkman, Black Adam, Dr. Fate, Martian Manhunter, Cyclone, Atom. All too busy to take care of themselves, and at this critical moment. Time suddenly seemed to have stopped. The bullet stopped in the air. But it doesn't really stop, but becomes extremely slow. It's like slow motion in a movie that's been slowed down countless times. Wow, it's good to be home. The moment the Flash returned to the DC universe, he felt full of power. Strange. I can also feel the speed force you are talking about. But why doesn't he listen to me? In this slow motion time and space. Quicksilver and the Flash stand side by side. The red and blue lightnings finally stood in the same camp. Actually, they were already in the same camp before they fought. You definitely can't use the Speed Force. Because the Speed Force didn't choose you. Returning to the Flash in the DC universe, his strength has returned to its peak, and he has become much more confident. Would you like to compete again? See who can save more people. Definitely better. Saving people is my strength. Quicksilver agreed to the Flash's competition request without hesitation. You're going to lose badly, Quicksilver. It was like lightning. Do you understand? Electric, light flint, this is a small pun. The Flash still has time to make a little joke. Anyway, time is more than enough for these two speedsters. Whatever you say, I hope your speed can be as quick as your tongue. Quicksilver said. It instantly turned into a silver lightning and rushed out. Hey. You jumped the gun. After the Flash finished speaking, he immediately turned into a red lightning, instantly catching up with Quicksilver and completing the overtake. It seems that someone's speed is not very good. Barry laughed. In an almost stationary time, he got ahead of Quicksilver and rescued the revenge demon who was surrounded by demon hunters. Then he turned around to save Deadshot on the other side. only to find that Deadshot had been saved by Quicksilver. And Quicksilver is standing nearby. He akimbo looked at himself. Kid Flash, I told you, I'm the one who plays magic. Quicksilver said. Instantly cast a teleportation spell. Teleported directly to Poison Ivy, who was about to be attacked, and saved the opponent. Damn magic. You're cheating. Barry cursed magic. But the envy in his eyes could not be concealed. Is this magic? It looks really useful, coach. I want to learn magic too. That's all. The two speedsters appeared and disappeared on the battlefield, acting as firefighters. Their appearance quickly attracted the attention of Dr. Destiny and Black Adam. Barry is back. Could it be that Batman succeeded? In the surprised eyes of the two people, a portal opened in the middle of the battlefield. Superman, Batman, Aquaman, plus the Flash, who came ahead of time. Except Wonder Woman Diana, because she sensed that her mother was in danger. Teleported to another battlefield in advance. At this point, several DC heroes who went to the Marvel Universe have all returned. And there are far more people coming than that. Hell, the fighting here is quite lively. Iron Man, Hulk, Ares, Hercules, Clone Thor, Hawkeye, Mordo. Plus Quicksilver. Those who came to support DC this time were, without exception, the top combat forces of the Avengers Alliance. You mean Hawkeye? Oh, he just came here to test his archery skills with Green Arrow, just pretend he doesn't exist. It seems that the situation is not optimistic. Then let's stop talking. Banner. While Tony Stark closed his mask, he glanced at Dr. Banner beside him. Don't worry, I can't wait for a long time. After Dr. Banner finished speaking, he started running directly on the glacier. He turned directly into the Hulk while running. Roar. Hulk appears. Its eyes were directly locked on Darkseid's silly son, Lieback. Hulk. Attack. The Hulk roared angrily, jumped up, and rushed directly towards Calibac. What kind of ugly thing are you? Calibac, who was fighting Black Arden, turned around and saw the Hulk. Just made a complaint. Then he was punched out by the Hulk. Boom. There was a loud bang. Calibac was hammered into the sea. Arthur, the Aquaman next to Batman, saw this and immediately jumped into the cold sea. Bicken Castle. SpongeBob is here. Washong, please stop leaving. Aquaman was shouting words that no one could understand. What he did was pretty normal. Aquaman picked up the trident and rushed towards Calibac, who fell into the sea. Leave Steppenwolf to me. Superman, who suffered a bit of a loss from Marvel, is now holding his breath. Sensing the majestic Steppenwolf on the other side of the battlefield, Superman said nothing, flying on the spot. Boom. The moment it took off, it broke through the sonic boom. In a few breaths, we arrived at the other side of the Arctic continent. Steppenwolf, who was fighting 1 against 2, beating Martian Manhunter and King Shark, was knocked away by Superman before he could see what was happening. Boom. It wasn't until it crashed through several glaciers and came to a stop that Steppenwolf heard the belated sonic boom. Supersonic literally means you travel faster than sound. And Superman's attack is just that. There's no way you can warn Superman of an attack by sound. Because when you hear, it's too late. Amazon female warrior here. Wonder Woman Diana threw out the shield and saved Queen Hippolyta. Then he leapt forward, set off by classic BGM. Holding the sword of Vulcan, pointing directly at the kind grandmother. She plans to capture the thief first and capture the king first. Hey, that's a good idea. Unexpectedly, the kind grandma looks so frail. He actually has a strong physique that is no less than that of Diana. The old woman raised her cane and easily blocked Diana's blow at a tricky angle. As the commander and instructor of Nemesis, the kind grandma's fighting skills are extremely ruthless. After blocking a blow, the kind grandmother immediately took out her crutches and he launched several sharp thrusts at Diana. Every move is fatal. And the angle is fierce. It either stabs the eyeballs or hits the heart. Diana. Queen Hippolyta, who was severely injured, saw Diana. There was a hint of surprise and worry in his eyes. Diana, learn to use your strengths. The moment the queen spoke, Diana was found an opportunity by the kind grandmother, and the Vulcan sword in her hand was knocked away by the crutch. After a few fights, you can tell. In terms of fighting skills, Diana is still a little immature in front of her kind grandmother. But Diana also has her own advantages. She has magical powers. Drink. Diana shouted. Cross your arms. The protective silver bracelets and wrist guards collided heavily. Boom boom boom. A terrifying shockwave spread out, directly knocking Grandma Shang away. But before Diana could give chase, the Nemesis team under the command of the kind grandmother surrounded them. Their moves are exactly the same as those of the kind grandmother, they are sharp and ruthless. And he acted extremely cruelly and despicably. Do whatever you can. Queen of the Amazon. Use her to force some people into submission. The Furies quickly discovered Diana's weakness. Queen Hippolyta. No. Diana was trapped in a tight siege and could not spare any effort to rescue her. But that's it. A rough voice fell from the sky. Don't worry, cheap sister. With Hercules here, no one can hurt your mother. Hercules descended from the sky, followed closely by the god of war's intestines. And I, Ares, the edge of the DCEU universe and the Marvel universe. There is nothingness here. Neither universe can be seen or discerned with the naked eye. But with the help of the concretization of Atreus, the anchor of the universe took on a more concrete form. Does it look like two bubbles? Yes, that's right, I call it the cosmic bubble. This is my exclusive creation. The universe is originally invisible and endless. But for better observation, I turned them into big bubbles. Atre put her hands on her hips, with an expression of, it still has to be me. What a genius idea. Chu Shu praises without hesitation, which is referred to as licking. Atreza's eyes narrowed in laughter. She was full of affection for the human named Chu Shu in front of her. Not only did they bring a variety of delicious candies, they also brought game consoles, mobile phones, and various game CDs. Chu Shu, you are so kind. From now on, you are Art Fuzzy's second best partner. When Chu Shu turned on the game console, he taught Atre how to play a game. He was successfully promoted to be Atreza's second best friend. Who's the first one? Chu Shu glanced at the Ancient One beside him and asked knowingly. It must be the little Ancient One? Atre replied without thinking. Haha, little Ancient One. This is what Chu Shu was waiting for. Recorded decisively and saved it. He didn't even notice that Ancient One's face had darkened. Boy. Guess if Atre knew that you destroyed the dimensional barrier and caused this series of cosmic collisions, do you think she would recognize you as her second best friend? Ancient One whispered a threat. Ahem, Chu Shu coughed lightly. Delete that recording immediately. Upon seeing this, the Ancient One's face recovered a little, smiled slightly, and expressed his gratitude to Atreze. Thank you for your help, Atreze. You're welcome, little Ancient One. And you gathered the infinite gems to prevent the collision of universes, and originally did me a big favor. Atre waved her hand magnanimously. At the same time, in her little head, she was already thinking about what to do after going back. How to write down a credit for yourself in a small notebook. The 42nd cosmic collision is coming. The heroes, Atreze plus Chu Shu plus Ancient One, successfully prevented the 42nd cosmic expansion by gathering infinite gems. Among them, Atez occupies the main credit. Hehe, I'm awesome. With a smile on her face, Atre waved her hands towards the two of them. In short, this is the edge of the universe. Here, you can separate the two universes with infinite gems. Like many mythical creations, you know who I'm referring to, right? Haha, Pangu. The reason why Atreze knew the story of Pangu created the world. It was what Chu Shu told her when she was telling a story. Okay, I'll leave the rest to you. I have to go back. Bye. Bye. Let's play black together when we have time. After saying hello to Chu Shu, Atreze returned to the land of eternal silence and continued to serve as the anchor of the universe. Wait a minute, did I forget to tell them? Once you enter the area outside the physical universe, you may encounter many strange things. The moment Atreze sat on the swing, she suddenly remembered something. She wanted to go over and remind her, but I looked at the games that I had already found a match for. Ah, forget it, he has infinite gems, it shouldn't be a big problem. Soon. Atre put the question behind him. Played the game happily. The edge of the universe. Chu Shu with the 6-gem cheat. Unsurprisingly, he became one of the top consciousnesses in the universe. If you explain it in game terms, it can be understood that Chu Shu has obtained the administrator rights of this server, this universe. And now, what Chu Shu has to do now is to use administrator rights. Repair and delete some unreasonable bugs in this server. You have to walk the rest of the way on your own. Remember what I told you. The water in our CJAH universe is very deep. The Ancient One stands at the edge of the universe. Reach out and touch the edge of the bubble. As a being in the Marvel universe, the Ancient One can travel to parallel universes, and can also travel to each other's worlds like the heroes of Marvel and DC. But now what Chu Shu has to do is far beyond the scope of her ability. This is not as simple as traveling from one universe to another. But go beyond the boundaries, travel to a higher latitude. Ancient One can't do this, but what she can do is provide a trivial suggestion to Chu Shu. Be careful. See, Ancient One's tone is so serious. Chu Shu was silent. To be precise, he was a little timid. Boss. How about I give you the infinite gems and you go ahead? As the saying goes, a dead Taoist friend will never die if he is a poor Taoist. Chu Shu wants to hand over unknown risks to the knowledgeable Ancient One. Anyway, she has lived enough for hundreds of years. I'm still young. Ancient One couldn't stand it any longer. She, who was still a little worried and sad just now, broke through her defenses directly. Get lost. I'll get tired of looking at you for one more second. Ancient One cursed, grabbed Chu Shu's arm, and pushed him to the edge of the space bubble. You're just kidding, boss. What's wrong with you? Chu Shu's voice stopped abruptly the moment it passed through the bubble of space. The Ancient One is gone. The sound is gone. The screen is gone too. The eyes cannot see anything because there is nothingness here. Even Chu Shu's thinking has stopped, because even thinking originally does not exist here. Like the blank pages of a comic book, or a blank chapter of a novel. There's not a single line on it, not a single word. Just blanks. Where is the narrator talking? As the 6 gems glowed simultaneously, Chu Shu recovered his thinking. The feeling just now reminded him of a classic quote, Kaz stopped thinking. Is this outside the universe? It feels okay. Infinite gems is still available, which means I haven't completely entered a blank page. Or, am I still close to the Marvel universe? Chu Shu looked at the infinite gems that could still be used. I came to a conclusion in my mind. What I have to do now is wait for Tony and the others to finish. Separate the 2 universes again. After clarifying what you want to do, Chu Shu looked back at the Marvel universe. The Marvel universe that was originally transformed into a bubble due to the influence of Atreus' power. Its prototype gradually emerged, huge, orderly, hard to understand, but the outline was still clearly imprinted in Chu Shu's mind. It was a majestic being sitting cross-legged and resembling a human figure. F*K, Heng, Chu Shu exclaimed at the same time. Eternity slowly opened his eyes, and his pupils were like billions of stars. Baby. What are you doing outside? Come back quickly, I can't protect you outside. Cover me. Do we have any friendship? While doubts popped up in Chu Shu's mind, he looked back at the DC universe. A peek beyond the universe, it immediately attracted the attention of many great gods in the DC universe. First, the physical incarnation of the DC universe, Destiny, slowly opened his eyes. That's a goddess with green hair. Just like Eternity in the Marvel universe, Destiny's body is also made up of stars from the entire DC universe. Except for Destiny, there is another malicious person eyeing Chu Shu. That mass of malice is very pure, as if it is the original evil from the beginning of creation. It is the opposite of all light and justice, yes. TMD giant ferocious beast, boss eternal, open the door. The DC next door let the dog bite me, leave it alone. Stay silent forever, close your eyes silently. Baby, I told you not to go out, so you can take care of yourself. Wipe. Chu Shu turned around and made an international gesture to Eternity. But Eternity still didn't respond. In fact, the evil spirit of the DC universe has not emerged. Chu Shu breathed a sigh of relief. He was really not sure whether the 6 gems could defeat the giant beast. If it's a later version, a weakened giant beast, then it's definitely fine. After all, the giant beasts at that time had changed from the opposite of God to the duplication of Lucifer. The strength has long since disappeared. But if it is a giant ferocious beast from the ancient comic book period. Eternity, do you have contact information for the Living Tribunal, or the original Transcendent? Anyway. Forget this little episode. Chu Shu did not encounter any danger outside the universe as Ancient One said. At best, he attracted the attention of some cosmic gods. It doesn't matter. In the future, he can take his place. Chu Shu took out a small notebook and silently wrote down every cosmic god who paid attention to him. This is not a matter of customers or not. If we say that dimension demons are Chu Shu's main service targets, then these great gods of the universe are getting rich from heaven. This is equivalent to starting a small business and suddenly becoming the leader of 2 horses and 1 king. From a small business of more than 10 to 200,000. It has become a big investment with several small goals at every turn. As long as I can get close to one of them, I can never spend all my wealth. Chu Shu thought about it, while turning his attention to the battlefield of the DC universe. TMD. Can you guys fight faster? Brother, I'm waiting here for you to leave the universe after you finish fighting. Earth of the DC universe. The war, which Chu Shu disliked and was fought too slowly, continued. Darkseid's army is far larger than imagined. Apocalypse Star scientist DISA directly established a fixed transmission channel. Established contact between the base camp Apocalypse and the Earth. Send the constant stream of demons over. Tony, didn't you say that you won a larger interstellar war? On the battlefield, Batman puts on the exoskeleton armor he prepared for Superman. Anti-Superman armor. But even with the help of power armor, Grandpa Bat still hasn't changed his attributes as a miscellaneous soldier on large-scale battlefields. Heads up. Average. Date. Invincible. Group fight. Miscellaneous soldiers. Batman's embarrassment comes to the fore in this massive war. Bruce, your armor design concept is simply inferior. Can't you learn from me? You don't have flight mode, and you don't have remote output. You still have your chin exposed. Are you afraid that someone won't hit you in the chin? Or do you have a chin like Superman, a steel chin with Kryptonian blood? Tony Stark is flying in the air. Provide fire support to the melee output Batman below. Don't change the subject. Stark, are you bragging about the interstellar war you mentioned before? Batman punched a demonoid away. In the process, he grabbed the opponent's spear and fired several shots at several demonoids in the air. Who's bragging? We really won an interstellar war. It's much bigger than what you have here. And ours was a real space battle, not your landing battle. Huge amounts of powerful rays burst out from Tony Stark's palms. Then it spins in the air. Directly wipe out all the demons within the range. Yeah. Then why'd I feel like you guys don't look very experienced? Batman revealed the secret. Well, that's because. Tony was speechless for a moment. He didn't want to admit that in the last interstellar war, they paddled all the way. The enemy main ship and most of the enemies were destroyed by the huge octopus monster. Okay, I admit that there is a little bit of moisture in what I said. But you have too many enemies here. Tony Stark fights and regrets at the same time. If I had known, I would have brought all the remaining dozen or so steel armors here. However, misfortunes never come singly. At this time. Roar. A roar came from behind. As an outsider, Tony hasn't realized what happened. Batman realized something and suddenly looked towards the direction of the sound, the Fortress of Solitude. Who is now responsible for garrisoning the Fortress of Solitude? Batman asked quickly in the channel. Soon. A weak voice answered him. It's Lex Luthor. He took away the mother box and said he would launch the Doomsday Plan. Dr. Fate, who had just been rescued by the Flash, replied in a weak voice. What? Where are the others? Didn't anyone stop him? Batman just finished speaking. The voice of Deadshot, who was rescued by Quicksilver, rang out from the channel. Bane is dead, Hawkman is dead, Boomerang is dead, Peacemaker is dead. Bat, if you come back any later, everyone will be dead. Where are the others? Deadshot seized the opportunity and slapped Batman unceremoniously. After all, he was captured and imprisoned by Batman in the first place. Eventually he joined the Suicide Squad. They are old enemies. Batman has nothing to say. He could only look back in the direction of the Fortress of Solitude. At the same time, inside the Fortress of Solitude, Lex Luthor's face was livid. The confidence on his face completely disappeared as Doomsday took full shape. Roar. Look at this giant beast that keeps roaring in the culture fluid. Lex Luthor finally understands what Dr. Fate is talking about. He didn't create a second Superman. Instead, he created an out-and-out monster. That overwhelming murderous intention, it made Lex Luthor's heart tremble. You can understand what I'm saying, right? In order to redeem himself from the mistakes he made, Lex Luthor mustered up the courage to try to communicate with Doomsday. But in response to it was a pair of cruel eyes without any emotion. I resurrected you using Kryptonian technology and the power of the Mother Box. I don't expect you to obey my words, but I was hoping you could do me a favor. The fully formed Doomsday emerged from the culture fluid. Its size is more than 3 meters tall. Lex Luthor was as small as a child before it. But Lex Luthor still mustered up the courage, raised his head, and looked into Doomsday's eyes. I hope you will help me destroy the enemies outside. Even if it's just this once. Doomsday said nothing. Silent, looking down at Lex Luthor. Just when Lex Luthor thought Doomsday was going to attack him. Suddenly, the destroyer roared, turned around and rushed out of the Fort of Solitude. After the disaster, Lex Luthor breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately afterwards. There is good news and bad news. The good news is, Doomsday agreed to his request and launched an attack on Steppenwolf's army. But the bad news is, Doomsday has also attacked the heroes of DC and Marvel.